Welcome back to 1010's Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Beer. I'm sitting in my Kangan Motorsports studio. Across from me is my co-host, Adam Nilsson, and we are back from our winter break.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Yeah.
It's totally what it was.
It
wasn't because I was puking my guts out.
And it wasn't because I lost my voice for 3 days.
Right.
It was because of our planned winter sabbatical.
Ooh.
Sabbatical. You got to keep it fresh, Adam.
Sabbatical is such like a...
It's a professional word.
It's such a douchey word, though.
What? No.
Nobody goes on sabbatical and isn't a douche about it.
Pastors go on sabbatical.
Well,
I don't know. I honestly don't know anyone that goes on sabbatical besides pastors.
Well, no. People use that term.
Oh. No. People that use that unironically, or I guess you could say me in this case, are douchey.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
No, I know. The only people that I'm aware of that actually say I'm on sabbatical are pastors.
What's the definition of sabbatical in your mind?
Be like a leave of absence,
it's an extended leave of absence
from work
for like a mission.
Like a mission,
like if I was a
let's Google it.
If I was a man of the clergy,
yes,
and I was going to go to an impoverished third world African country, is that a sabbatical then?
A period of paid leave.
That's not how I was.
Okay, then we're definitely not. We didn't do a sabbatical because we're not getting paid.
We're not getting paid.
All right, so we did not do a sabbatical. A period of paid leave granted to a university teacher. Okay, teachers, that would make sense. Or other workers of study or travel, traditionally 1 year or even 7 years, for every 7 years worked. How do I get that job? Yes, I've been at my job.
A university teacher.
Yeah, I've been at my job for 7 years. I would like to take a year off paid.
I feel like you wouldn't totally hate
being a
college professor.
Nah. Or even a trade school professor. That'd be cool.
I think you'd way enjoy a trade school professor job.
Yeah, like a mechanics setup.
I think you would really thoroughly enjoy that.
Yep, that'd be all right. You know what?
I tried.
Actually, if I continue on the path that I am doing, where I end up being a welding engineer, and that'd be my only focus, I could see that parlayed into a welding teaching thing. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
So
former guest of the show.
I could take sabbaticals.
Don Boss,
yes,
is a teacher at a local community college.
Yeah, that'd be
and
cool.
I tried to be, what do they call it? Ad hoc? Is that what they call that?
Where you come in as needed?
Yes. I do like one class a year.
For like 6 weeks or whatever.
Yeah. They used to have a fiber construction class. And the guy who taught that took a promotion with his real job that required him to move to Wisconsin.
Oh.
And so I was like, hey, man.
I know these things.
What about, what are you going to do with your DMAC job? He's like, well, I'm going to have to quit it. He's like, are you asking because you're interested? Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
And he made the introductions, and COVID hit, and it just never went anywhere.
Ah, shoot. Yeah, I remember you were.
So I was really excited about it because I think I would thoroughly enjoy that.
Yeah, I think you'd be good at that too.
I think it'd be fun.
Yeah. So, you know what? We were on sabbatical because we got paid the same regardless.
I mean, you're not wrong there. Yeah, I made the same amount of money I would have if we'd have been here.
Yep.
It certainly wasn't a year-long sabbatical. But
I'm not against it.
Funny it says 7 years, Robbie.
We've been doing this for almost 7 years.
Because in 6 days will be our 7-year anniversary.
We're due for a year off.
Maybe that's what Michael was doing.
He's on sabbatical.
Yeah.
He's doing it every year. He'd take 7 years off. So he'll be back.
Right. For every year he did it, he took 2 years off.
Yeah, see, it's better than... Yeah, I'm fine with the sabbatical. We could do that.
Just take a year off?
Yeah, we'll be back.
You know, fuck it. Just shut him off.
All right, we'll be back next year.
We'll release this. See you in 2024. Fuck it.
I don't know, man. I'm just tired all the time. I blame the cold weather. I've never felt more like my dog Kyle than I do right now. And that makes no sense to anyone that doesn't know my dog Kyle. You understand completely.
I'm certainly not Yancey.
No. So I have 2 dogs. Kyle is the pit bull mix. Yancey is the spaniel mix.
Yeah.
Yancey
and based off, if you'd have just told me that.
Yes.
I definitely would have placed Kyle and Yancey in different categories.
The opposites, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kyle, wildly abused before we got him, has all of the fight beaten out of him.
Yeah. I think maybe literally.
Literally, yes. Yeah, this is not a figurative. No, literally. He came from Atlanta. He was considered a bait dog, the ones that you put in the ring to train the big dogs. He was brought from Atlanta.
How fucked up can you be?
If you do that to animals, that's what you deserve to you. That's how you deserve to die, in my opinion. But hey, that's just me.
So rough.
Then Jess got him when she was in St. Louis. So he came from the shittiest part of Atlanta to St. Louis, which is St. Louis. And then came to Des Moines. So he's had literally all the fight taken out of him. So he would rather spend almost all of his time upstairs in his comfy bed alone.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, isn't even in the master bedroom, is it?
It's in the master bedroom.
Oh, it is.
But if I leave the doors open to the spare bedrooms, he will go in there.
Yeah.
Or in the walk-in closets, depending on the day. Like if there's been too much noise, he's in the closets. If there's been way too much noise, he's in the closet that's back behind the bathroom. Just in his little cave.
Robbie's square footage of closet space is probably bigger than my house.
If you count every little, yeah, probably.
Robbie has more bathrooms than he has people living in this house.
Double. I got 2 bathrooms upstairs. I got a bathroom on the main floor, and then I got a full bathroom down here.
I have 25% of the people living in my house in bathrooms.
I will never live in another house that doesn't have a 1-to-1 bathroom ratio.
As a man,
if I can go my whole life and never have to smell another human shit in my own house, I will have done something right.
As a man who lives in a house where we have 4 people to 1 bathroom, I couldn't agree more.
I have grown accustomed to a certain style of living, and I will not go back for anything.
Yeah, Katie and I have talked about converting the 3-season room into a not 3-season room just so I could put a bathroom back there. They'd be right next to each other.
That's fine. But
at least there's 2 of them.
Well, it's like all the apartments in college. The bathrooms butt up to each other.
Yeah. Well, it's because plumbing is simple.
Yeah, all for it.
The biggest problem with doing that for my 3-season room is that it's on a slab.
Oh, shoot.
And so, there's no good way to... But it is a step down from the house, so I suppose I could build a false floor and put all the plumbing underneath that and then make it walk out straight instead of having a step down.
Yeah, I would. Whatever it costs, worth it.
It's not right now, though, Robbie. I just need to not live in that house.
But that's where I'm at right now with just I don't know if it's winter blues.
Yeah.
But the idea of spending 19 to 24 hours a day by myself...
In a dark room
just sounds great.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to go to this thing? Yeah, I'll be there for 5 minutes, but then I gotta go. Back to I got
very busy.
I'm very busy at home. I just got to be home.
Yeah.
Me and Kyle. We're on the same level.
I had to last week. I had to find a phone number of a person who called me at the beginning of the month.
Oh,
I knew what day he called me.
That helps.
And I knew a 3-hour window where that he called me in.
This is work related?
Yes, a work related phone call. And I needed to call this guy back, and I was not anticipating his phone call. It's a representative for a company that we do a bunch of business with. And he told me on the phone, I was in a data center and I could barely hear him.
Okay.
But he told me on the phone, call me sometime, I can get you better pricing than the counter guys. And then I totally forgot about it after I left.
Oh, shoot.
And then remembered it again weeks later. I'm like, fuck, man, I got to find this dude's phone number, right?
Yep.
So I downloaded the AT&T app and was looking through my bill because it lists out all your phone calls.
Yep.
And for that billing cycle, because that was the previous billing cycle by the time I looked this up, for that billing cycle, I received 680 some phone calls. And a total cumulative time spent on the phone in that billing cycle of 2,800 minutes. 2,799 minutes.
Fuck all of that. You're not paid enough. Fuck that.
That was, I should say, I received or made.
Yeah.
786, I think it was, phone calls.
Nope.
2,799
That is so much human interaction.
minutes.
That is so much human interaction.
Yeah.
No.
And that doesn't include emails, text messages.
Group chats.
Yeah.
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 And we wonder why your phone's always dead.
Hey, man, right now it's sitting at a rocking 95%. So.
Did you do a lot of driving today?
Well, so I have a desk now, which I fucking despise.
Look at you.
But it's got a charge pad on it. And then my truck, if I'm in my truck, it's always charging in my truck. Yep. And then if I'm working in the back of my truck splicing, there's a charge pad in there next to my bench as well on my windowsill that I made.
Nice.
So, like, basically my phone is
always
wherever I am, is on a charge. Unless I'm walking around, it's on a charger.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I kind of have that set up, but I don't have any wireless chargers. I just have the.
I love those charge.
No, I don't blame you.
Bam, it's charging.
It's the way to do it.
It's the best.
That is one thing I wish my truck had. The wireless in the center console.
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
Mine doesn't have it. I have to plug it in when I'm driving.
Yeah.
So.
And the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto isn't a thing.
Wireless
in
Apple CarPlay only exists in what was it? I think Dusty said that his wife's car was the first year they got that, so 21?
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely not 18.
Definitely not 2020 either, because I don't have it. So,
your next truck will.
God, I fucking hope so. I'm almost there. 15,000 more miles until they told me they were going to replace it, but I don't believe that they're going to.
That seems quick.
100K. I've had it for 2 years. I've put 85 on it.
Based on what you said, how often they replace vehicles, that seems quick. And it's not like a knock.
Well, it wouldn't get replaced; it would get shuffled down.
Oh,
I should say.
Okay,
now it gets shuffled down.
Yeah, that makes way more sense.
Which I don't think is going to happen. And frankly, I honestly almost don't even want to.
It's been good, deal.
So actually, that's something we could quick talk about before we dive into the other things. It's kind of interesting because it's like the only brand new vehicle I've ever had interaction with in my whole life, and I've put what would be for the average user an accelerated amount of miles on it.
Oh yeah,
because normal people don't put 40,000 miles a year on vehicles. So it had its first significant mechanical failure this week.
Okay.
So Monday morning when I was driving, I had picked up some equipment that we needed and was bringing it to some guys that needed it at a job site. And I'm driving down the road and I'm like, man, it smells like diesel in here.
Okay.
It's distinct, and it's a gas truck.
Yeah.
It's the 6.6 gas, the first year of the 6.6 gas. But I was like, man, it smells kind of like diesel in here.
Something's not right.
Strange.
Yeah.
And it smelled this way for miles, so it's not like
you picked up somebody else's for a second.
Yeah, I picked it up. Yeah. So I get to the job site and I immediately get sucked into bullshit, and so I forgot about it. And as I was getting ready to leave, someone goes, "Hey man, there's a puddle under your truck." And I look at it, I'm like, "Son of a bitch!" And so it was right in front of the driver's side front tire.
Okay.
And so I kind of felt it, or reached up underneath there and that's it's red. Yep. It was red. So I was like, I'm pretty sure it's transmission fluid, maybe power steering fluid. Yep. And I popped the hood and I looked down along right where the radiator support is and stuff like that. And there's lines coming up there from everything.
Does yours have a power steering cooler?
So it turns out it has a power steering and transmission cooler that is one unit with lines going in and out of it.
Okay.
And one of the transmission lines broke or ruptured or burst or went.
That's not an uncommon failure.
Apparently not.
Yep. And that's not just in that truck, like all of them.
Right. And so I brought it back to the shop and brought it to the mechanics, and they're like, "Yeah, well, I realize you need this thing because I kind of need that thing, and because we don't have another one like it, so I can't just use a different truck in the meantime." So they bumped it to the front of the row and got it in, ordered parts, and had it back to me the next day, which I was beyond ecstatic about, let me tell you. But they ended up replacing just those lines. The cooler was fine. It was just the lines. And then they flushed all the power steering fluid out because it was burned and really nasty. Since the day I got that thing, like when you have the steering wheel turned to full lock, like you can literally hear the power steering pump screaming.
Yeah, it's an OS.
It fucking hates it.
Yeah.
And because it has the worst turning radius of any vehicle I've ever driven, it's at lock a lot.
Every time you drive it.
Yeah. So like to get out of your driveway, I have to 4-point turn to turn around and leave here.
That's a lot of points.
Yeah.
That's too many points, Adam.
Yeah. That's 3 more than you do to leave
Yep.
in your truck.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the worst.
Actually, I'll have you know, when I don't back up the trailer all the way up the driveway. I pull in all the way up, drive in, pull into the garage a little bit, and then back up and go straight next to the garage.
You couldn't do that with my truck.
Yeah, I say I don't even
do that with
I don't
my
even do it. If I do it right, I don't even 3-point turn it to do the trailer.
I actually sometimes struggle to back trailers into places because I don't have enough steering angle to point the trailer where I need it to go.
That would frustrate me, especially for a truck that should be.
It's because it's so fucking long.
Yours is how much? Yours can't be that much longer than mine.
It's a full crew cab with a long box.
Oh, so you have 2 more feet than me then.
And it's a 2500 HD.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a big truck.
So you got at least 2 more feet than I do.
And then it only has 47 degrees of steering angle, which I don't think is very much.
It's not enough degrees.
It's not very much.
No.
I know that because there's a screen that you can turn on, which I fucking love. But it shows you how much steering angle you have, and then there's a side by side. There's a side view and a top view,
Yep.
and it'll show you incline and then left to right.
Okay.
And it'll show you how much steering angle you have, and it will also, like, if you have a tire that's slipping, it will show that.
Okay.
It'll light up that tire. It's super cool. I love playing with it. We
say,
always joke about
I have that.
like when I first got it and I was always watching that screen because it fascinated me, I would like see how steep of angles I was on, and I would be like, oh, we're at 6 degrees down bubble.
Your coworker's like, who cares? I can't give you shit because I did the same thing.
I think
with
it's
mine.
hilarious, and I just loved calling it down bubble, like I'm in a fucking submarine or something.
Well, did you know that the hill by my place is 7 degrees up down bubble?
Oh, well, I'll check it on my way out.
Yeah, if you want to verify for me.
Yeah, I've seen 15 degrees
Jeez.
with that. That's the most I've seen in it.
That's a lot of degrees.
Yeah,
That's a steep hill.
it was it was an alley in Denison, Iowa. Like it's people. Like people's garages go to this alleyway.
No, I don't want that.
Can you imagine that in the winter? It'd be the worst.
Sliding all the way down.
Just hope there's nobody in the intersection at the bottom of the hill because you're not going to stop.
We had so many cars in the ditch the other day.
Yeah, I don't doubt that.
Because it rained and then it snowed a little bit.
Yeah, it was the worst.
Because I was coming home and I'm like, man, it's kind of, it had just kind of started snowing after the rain. I'm like, these roads are proper shit.
Yeah.
And it went from being like totally fine, just wet, to absolute shit in like an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of people in the ditch.
But yeah, I was kind of impressed that the truck managed to go 85,000 miles, and I'm not nice to it. Like, it goes through some rough shit. It's bounced through some serious ditches, and I pop it up over curbs multiple times a week, and so far the only thing it's ever had that's failed is, we put tires on it. And,
yeah, consumables.
And I've killed the battery enough times that the battery was shot and we had to replace it. But that wasn't the truck's fault.
No.
But that's like the first real mechanical failure in 85,000 miles.
And you're getting to that mileage where things are going to fail.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
I finally had the starter go out in mine.
Yeah.
And it was really weird because normally you have that distinct click.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, mine wouldn't do it. So I went out after the SCCA meeting and jumped in the truck and turned the key. And it was just it sounded like a relay click. Like that was it. Not like I couldn't tell that it was a mechanical click.
Right.
It's like we're checking relays. I'm like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. I drove here in this.
Right.
Like no inclination there was anything wrong. And then Spencer got under it and hit it with a hammer and got it to work. But we talked about this on the show.
I know we talked about you replaced that you were so proud of yourself for putting a genuine
GM part on my genuine GM truck.
Right.
It starts
Which,
so much.
honestly, I'm proud of you too, Robbie, because college Robbie would have bought the cheapest thing that Rock Auto had to sell you.
True story.
And in 5,000 miles, you'd be putting another one on.
No, I would have bought the cheapest one that still had the heart on the Rock Auto site.
Still would have failed on you.
Yes, for sure.
Way too quickly.
But what was funny to me is now that I've been driving it, I was always like, oh, it's kind of slow to start. Like it just takes longer than I would expect it to.
Yeah.
It's because that starter's been going out for a while. So now I just bump the key, like, just immediate.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, yeah, I'm slowly making the truck even nicer.
Yeah, I'm proud of you though, Robbie, for spending money where you should.
You want to know what battery is in the Focus right now?
Is it an Interstate battery?
It's an Optima battery.
Why?
Because that's what I had. I had a leftover Optima.
Lots of people like really poo poo on them, but I love Interstate batteries.
That's probably what I got if I had to buy one.
I've had really good luck with them.
Yeah, I wouldn't get an Everstart.
You don't run into Walmart and buy the cheapest battery that you can buy.
No, I wouldn't have bought an Optima for the Focus.
God, I hope not.
But an Interstate battery probably, yes.
Yeah.
So, no, the battery died on me. So I was like, well, this one fits.
Are you really a car guy if you don't have like a rotating grouping of random batteries?
Now I'm officially out of usable batteries.
Yeah.
I have a stack of soon-to-be ballast, but...
Are you gutting them for the lead weight?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Robbie.
You know how expensive it is if you have to buy it?
So are you going to like try and melt that down?
Yeah, it melts at like 400 degrees. I got a fire pit, Adam.
You got to be shitting me right now.
It's going to be great.
Are you fucking serious?
I'm not going to do it in my oven. What else am I going to do with it?
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I'm not going to do it tomorrow, but
Okay.
I'll do it eventually.
I'm not going to ask the question that I want to ask because then I'm going to put you in a bind.
No, go for it.
Legally. How do you dispose of the liquid?
Well, I haven't done that part yet. I haven't looked into that yet.
Okay. Well, because I know how I would dispose of it if this wasn't a public forum.
You would you would drill a hole in it and let it go all over your shop floor.
Not my shop floor. I mean, I have some decency. I'd pour it out between the garage and the...
That's actually a dig at one of my friends that accidentally did that. I won't say their name.
Fair enough.
No, I haven't looked into that.
I don't want the EPA to come knocking on your door.
No, I honestly haven't looked into that part of it. I figured that'd be a summer project where I could go and like do it in my fire pit and then use like a bread thing to make the ballot. I haven't really put a whole lot of thought into it. I just know that I'm going to eventually do it.
Google it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's an option.
There's got to be a way to do it.
There's not a chance that someone isn't typing away what they did on the Facebook group.
Yeah,
right now.
someone will tell me how to do it.
Someone is typing up what their experience was with getting battery ballast.
Yeah.
On the Facebook group right now.
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
So,
and if it's a terrible idea, I want to know.
because that's a thing that someone in our group would have done.
Yes,
for sure.
Well, the ballast that I have in the car is borrowed from someone that did that.
So it is a thing.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, the stack of weights that I have that I've used in the last year was from a previous racer that wasn't currently using them. That's how they made them. That's why they're like flat plates that were on like cookie sheets.
Well, because I remember when you ballasted the 240 to make it legal for your TT class.
Yep.
That you went and bought.
Yeah, I got a 45-pound weight.
Yeah, weight like
the rubber
like
plate.
exercise rubberized plates.
Yep. So I have that for the first 45.
Okay.
And then I have a seat bracket that I've modified to hold on to these lead plates.
Uh-huh.
And they're like, between half inch and an inch.
How much ballast are you running?
None. This is for other things. Like I ran ballast to stay in production C and mid of TT.
Oh, okay.
And then when I didn't have the tune on it, I had to ballast up, I think, 60 pounds.
Uh-huh.
Because I was running 250 horsepower.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever. So I had to run like something for the first couple of races with the GLTC. So
I'm going to ask a question I already know the answer to, but I'm going to be an asshole about it.
Let's do it.
Do you go to a GLTC race with rewards weight in your trailer in case you need it?
It's always in the trailer.
You do have it?
It's always there.
Oh, okay, that's less fun than I wanted it to be.
Why would you?
I was hoping you'd say, why the fuck would I need it? I don't bring it with me.
No.
I can make fun of you about being Backpack Bob then.
No, it's always there. And it's less because I expect to be in the top 5. So let's be real. And not to say that I don't expect to at least be better than I was.
I mean,
look, I'm fucking racing against.
Yeah.
But it's always there in case let's say I dynoed fucked up or or whatever, and like my numbers were not what I expected them to be, and I needed to add weight. So it's.
I'll give you that. That's fair.
So the front cabinets of my trailer are usually full of tools, spares, whatever. Because I bring my whole tool chest and all my spares, and then I have this like big tote of 350Z specific spares. And that goes in the back of the truck, as well as my spare transmission, as well as any other like axles and whatever. And if I have a spare part, it's in the back of the truck. So if you are at an event that I'm at and you have 350Z problems, I have a spare part.
Maybe.
Probably if I don't need it.
Right.
Plus rewards weight for when I fucking win, Adam.
It's good to dream big, Robbie.
Shoot for the stars.
Right. If you miss, you'll land in the back.
Land in the ocean or whatever.
In the back of the pack.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, sometimes
someone has to be the best of the rest, right?
That's right.
Of the rest of the rest.
I'm actually legitimately excited about
the one race you're going to do next year.
Yeah, I do too.
Next August.
No, I'll do the. Well, if I don't get the lottery, then I don't get to go to festival.
Oh, that's right. Did you enter into the lottery?
I entered.
Okay.
No, this will be ready.
The popularity.
I mean, the
lottery. Yeah,
it's a random lottery.
They ask a lot of questions for a random lottery. I'm just saying. I don't have any skin in the game, so I can say these things and not have to worry about ruining my chances.
I listened to the last Sip Angle.
Lottery.
I listened to the last Sip Angle episode, so I don't really care what he thinks.
Yeah,
we're at war.
Yeah, suck it. Suck on these, I think was the direct statement.
Yep. So
somebody needs some durian candy, I think is what we've.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because Abe asked, like, what does a podcast war entail?
Oh, he's about to find out.
Yeah, I think we need to deliver him some durian candy.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to figure out his address without him knowing it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I don't know if Jabay will give it to me. He might.
Somebody will.
He might protect the innocent.
No.
And, like, I feel like I don't know Aaron Lichty well enough because I've literally never interacted with him at all to be like, just reach out and be like, hey, man.
I said just the GLTC group chat, and I don't think he's really aware of who I am.
Yeah.
So.
And like I don't really know anybody else off the top of my head that would maybe know Abe's address.
James Morgan.
But since he lives in Kentucky now, James probably wouldn't know it.
I bet James could figure it out.
James would probably ask Aaron Lichty for us. James, hit me up.
Yeah, let us know. We're at war.
Somebody needs some durian candy.
Oh, and while we're talking about it, since we're clearly at Podcast War, are you listening to us on Spotify right now?
Oh, good point, Robbie.
You should go right now and go click on your Spotify and go to 1010's Podcast and hit review and give us that 5-star review because we need to have more than Slip Angle.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Actually, because we recently switched to the new hosting, in general, even if you've done it before,
we need it again.
Even on iTunes, you should probably go and do it again because we lost all of them.
Everything.
So now we look like a bunch of raving lunatics who have talked for 308. 308. Jesus fucking Christ. 308 episodes and have like 4 reviews.
I think it's like 30, but yeah.
Okay, I'd have never looked.
On Spotify.
I don't know what we have on iTunes.
But like for the fact that we had to restart like a year ago, that's not bad. And the fact that we never remind anybody to do it. But now it's important.
We have 14 ratings.
On what?
On iTunes. We have 14 ratings and we have a 5 out of 5.
Oh yeah.
So
that's pretty good.
At least one person actually wrote something.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you haven't or have in the way long time ago but haven't recently, please do it again because we lost everything. We had to start over.
Yeah.
We basically had a house fire with our podcast and we're now in our new house, and we need to rebuild it to the old house. So if you're listening, go on to things and review us and tell them we're the best podcast.
Yeah.
That when it comes to Grid Life recap podcasts, this is your favorite one. And it's free.
And we do WRL things, too.
And we do WRL things. And it's free.
And, yeah. All of our content is available for free.
For free. Yeah.
It's rude.
Because we care about the fans.
Soul podcasters.
There is no paywall with us.
We do it for the love, not for the fame and the money.
No, we don't want any of that.
Yeah.
Where the hell was I going?
I don't have
one
any
last
idea
thing.
where we're at this
We'll
point.
eventually talk about it, but I made a list of all the changes I made to the Z over the winter. It is literally a Word document from top to bottom, one full page.
Holy shit, Robbie! That's
It's all bullet points of things I fixed, things I changed. It's literally a Word doc, size 12 font, top to bottom.
That's crazy.
I didn't realize it until I started listing it off. I was like, we should probably do a recap since I've been real hush hush about it. We should probably talk about it now that it's basically back.
When
together.
do I get to see it?
I'm going to say it right now. 4 weeks.
That's a long time.
Four
Robbie.
weeks. 4 weeks. I got to get a windshield. See, that's one of the bullet points. I replaced my windshield. So that's.
You don't need a windshield to show the world,
I do.
Robbie.
Because the banner has to. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Are you getting a custom Grid Life banner?
What's your definition of custom?
Is it not the one they hand out?
They hand out 3.
Okay, is it not one of the ones they hand out?
No.
So you're getting a custom banner.
I'm having it printed, yes. I asked Kyle for the documents and he gave them to me.
Wow. Okay.
So it's getting new door cards, new window banner, all that.
That's a lot of work for one race. Weekend. One race weekend.
Well, that's assuming I don't get crashed out. But yeah.
One race weekend.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for one race weekend.
Maybe, yeah, if I'm lucky. If I make it in.
Well, I mean Heartland.
Which isn't even a GLTC race. It'd be an HPD.
Oh, I forgot.
Or unless I did a super grid.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Dusty.
I just need to sign up a second driver.
That is what Jabe told us.
The rule is you have to have 2 registered drivers.
Just put my name on it, and 1010's podcast is running a car. That's cool.
That's great.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah, and I'll just crew chief it.
Yeah, otherwise it's gonna be me and Josh LaPetrie.
There you go.
Whatever.
Dusty probably would.
Yeah, he would
Co-drive if you, or frankly, well, no, LaPetrie probably shouldn't.
He should probably have at least one track
because he needs some not iRacing time.
He has a lot of iRacing.
I know he has a lot of iRacing.
A lot of good iRacing.
And GLTC has proven that
translates.
I
will argue until I'm blue in the face that it does in fact translate.
Yeah.
I'm not saying apples to apples, but it does.
Translate. No, I totally agree with that. But still, he needs some IRL racing experience.
I promised him track time in the Z last year, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I think this year I'm going to do a lot more Sunday fun days and stuff at RPM just to shake out the car and get it ready.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be a perfect opportunity to at least get him in the car. And I promised him that I don't know, for 2 years, and it needs to happen.
Yeah.
So we'll find out if he still listens to the podcast. When he texts me and says, "Let me drive your fucking car."
Yeah. That's
But yeah, so we'll do a recap on all my winter updates because I obviously haven't posted shit about it.
Yeah.
But it's a totally different car.
Apparently, it's more than even I realized because
there's a lot of stuff.
I mean, we've talked about it not on the show, but I didn't realize you were that deep into things.
I made a lot of changes. Yeah,
I guess.
I mean, some of them are not going to make any bit of difference on pace, but some of them will.
Oh, I think there's one in specific that I think is going to change the way that car drives for you.
I'm going to say 2 specifically are going to make big differences.
Yeah, and we've talked about at least one of those. I think on the show.
Yeah, well, that's a different show.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's talk about.
Yeah, we should open this up now that we've restarted the show.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick, and then what would be funny is if the things that we actually planned on talking about
we just skip all
take less time than the bullshit we just did that we had not planned in any way, shape, or form.
I will guarantee that happens.
All right, fair enough. So,
before we do that, the reason this podcast is free. Everyone should head over to Factor Fabrication. FactorFabrication.com for all your fabrication needs. Not factory fabrication. FactorFabrication.com. If you want to get caged, railed, Booney will hook you up. Custom furniture, custom chairs, custom tables, stairs, railings. If you have fancy shit in your house and you want it to be even fancier, FactorFabrication.com.
Did he buy that card game?
Oh, Factor Fabrication?
Yeah.
Somebody did. I'm pretty sure. I think Max did.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yep.
There's a card game called Fact or Fabrications. And you're like, I'm assuming that the basis of it is like there's something on the card you read and you try to decide if it's real or fake.
Yep. I think there's a game called Bullshit that's very similar.
Yeah. So
if that's not sitting on his desk or whatever at work,
that better be.
we really missed an opportunity.
It better be.
Somebody did.
Yeah. Fact or fabrication.
Yep.
So,
I will give it away that one of the new logos on the car says Factor Fab Racing on it.
Yeah.
Yep. How big? We don't know.
Well, on the Z.
On the Z.
Oh.
Yeah. I have James, King James, is printing up vinyl for me as we speak. Then I have to go and pay someone else to do the actual printing vinyl that has to have more colors in it.
We don't have a guy for that anymore.
I know. I had to go to a stranger.
Gross.
But it's the place that I bought my Alumilite from, because I bought Alumilite for things.
I don't even know that I was aware that you bought Alumilite.
Yep.
Damn, son.
I bought Alumilite. And the place that sells me...
For the Z or for the NPO1?
For the Z.
Okay.
And the place that sells Alumilite prints vinyl.
I mean, that's because the actual use for Alumilite is to put vinyl lead signage on it.
They were super pumped when I explained to them what I was doing. Like, oh, well, that's cool. And
Yeah, I'm sure they were.
Then they made me talk about it for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
So yeah, now they'll be the ones that'll print my vinyl.
Yeah.
So maybe they want to be
A sponsor?
a sponsor. That's what I should do from now on. No sponsors on the car unless you're paying to be there. Like the dirt, like the dirt
Robbie.
people, like not just like people I like, but like actual paying customers.
That's why
That's what
it's
we
called a sponsor and not a partner at that point.
Yeah, more sponsors.
The people on your car right now, for the most part, partners.
Yeah, partners. No, one sponsor.
I said for the most part.
One sponsor.
For the most part.
Two sponsors.
Depends on how you define being paid, too, really.
Yep.
So, anyway.
Yeah, what have you been up to?
So we talked about this before, that I bought a van.
Yay!
But it turns out that I kind of fell for a lot of the things that I always kind of think are stupid.
You knew what you didn't want, and you still ended up in that.
And so now, I've long since harped on or said, I don't know if I've said it on the podcast, but always kind of like, how do people fall for these things, right? And I fucking hook, line, and sinker.
Yep.
So I kind of want to talk about this because it's incredible how good they are at this.
Oh yeah. And like as soon as you were describing, I was like, man, he's gonna be so mad when he realizes he.
Oh yeah, I
stumbled over this. And
I'm not going to try and claim that I didn't. 100% I fell for all of this.
Yeah. It clearly happens.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, how could you do?
No,
fucking happens.
Yeah. Now I see it. And so I want to go over this, my personal experience of this, and I'm even going to share some numbers that are kind of fucking stupid.
I got to say, I'm really happy that you are this open. I love that about this podcast.
I want people to see this.
I hate how exposed I feel sometimes, but like this is amazing.
It's super fucked up.
Yes.
So the sale price on the van was $17,000 and change. That is what I was planning on paying for the van. And through certain circumstances that I'm not going to be super open about,
not important,
I had a fairly large $10,000 down payment.
Yeah.
So, in theory, my intention was to only get a loan for the remainder, for the roughly little over $7,000 remainder.
Yeah, so $7,000 plus tax.
I understood that like tax, title, and licensing fees were going to get rolled into that stuff and things like that. And so I knew that like by the time I was all said and done with this, it was going to be probably in the $8,000 or closer to $9,000 range for a loan.
Totally reasonable.
That I was going to have left
yes.
in this. And honestly, I probably should have done a little more thought and research into this before I went in there, because like you can literally go and you can Google auto loan calculator and it'll spit you up a calculator that you can put all your parameters into, and it'll spit you out what you should roughly expect as a monthly payment.
Yes.
And I didn't do that.
Yes.
And so I knew the number that I knew the number that I was supposed to pay monthly. I saw that when I was filling out all the paperwork, and I was like, man, that seems like a lot of money. But I didn't realize how much a lot of money it really was.
And that's the problem.
Because I was spending so much more than I realized I was spending.
And that's the problem, too, is that not this situation, but in other situations where they're like, well, what payment do you want?
They won't ask you how much money you want to spend. They'll ask you what you're willing to do for a monthly payment.
Yeah, so if I say, well, I only want to pay $300 a month, like, we'll get you that loan. It'll be
right
a billion years.
Right. They don't care if they'll literally finance you a car. This is what's insane to me is that like they'll finance you a car for 84 months.
Yeah.
A used car.
Yeah.
A car that's 10 years old already.
Mm-hmm. That's the new norm. That was actually going to be one of my predictions about car loans, and I decided it was too sad, so I'm not going to talk about it.
It's on my list of things.
Okay. It has nothing to do with you, but like just the general.
Yeah. So, long story short, basically the total loan amount before they added all the bullshit that they tried to add to me was supposed to be $20,876.50. Now, this page, I screenshotted some of this stuff, so if you're on YouTube, you can see these numbers. There's nothing on here that is like my personal information.
No, it's like a bill.
I don't feel bad about sharing
Yeah.
this stuff. I edited some of it so like my address and there's no bank numbers or loan numbers or anything like that on here. So I can safely share this stuff. It's fine. But so the total loan amount before any deductions from my my down payment or anything like that, they put as $20,000.
Yeah, cash price $20,876.50
for
your $17,000 van,
and that included $1,239.50 in sales tax.
Okay.
So where the rest of that money came in, there's a number of things, and they don't ever show you these pages when you're filling this stuff out.
Right.
So I sat down at a desk with a guy, and his desk is literally a touch computer screen.
Oh.
I mean, it's like the size of this table that we're sitting in.
Yep.
Except turned the other way, right?
Okay.
So it's turned the short way. So he's closer to me, but the desk is longer, right?
Yep.
And it's a big screen, and he's just flipping through the pages and sign here, sign here, sign here, sign here, and just flipping through and like there's a camera like up and behind him on the wall, and like there were a couple of times where he literally like would point at the camera and say, "Oh yeah, Big Brother wants me to do these things for you, but I'm going to shoot." Like he's trying to play the nice guy too.
Oh, of course,
he's trying to act like he's on your side.
Oh,
and I fucking took it, dude. I totally did.
He's not here to get you. He's not here to get that extra
dollar. Because he's the finance guy.
Yeah,
he's not even the sales guy. And I assume he gets paid the same either way, but I don't think that's true.
There's no way that's true.
So that $20,800 number includes the sales tax, which I understood.
Yep.
I thought that it included the license and registration fee, but it doesn't.
Okay. That's
actually later.
Yes.
In their itemized billing. What it did include was a $500 fee that they didn't tell me about at all. So, full disclosure, I actually went back into the dealership and made them explain this stuff to me, and I actually got a bunch of this money back, but we'll get there.
Yep.
There was a $500 fee added to this pre-tax that the guy told me after I went back in and asked him, "What the fuck is this?"
Yep.
He said, "Oh, it's a device that we install on every vehicle we get here. And if the vehicle gets stolen, they can track it."
And by stolen, they mean reported stolen by them for lack of payment.
Well,
they assume.
So then, then this was after I went back and started pressing questions that they told me about this thing. And he tried to smooth that over by telling me that the company that owns that device, or sells that device, I should say, they'll give you they'll give you like a certain amount of money above and beyond what the insurance company will give you for the vehicle if it gets totaled out as stolen. And if in the process of the vehicle getting stolen, you end up with your identity stolen and some other stuff, they'll help you fight the legal fees on that and stuff
Okay.
But like he's selling all these things which sound great, that's fine, but they didn't tell me about any of that shit up front.
So you wouldn't have even known let's say it got stolen today.
I wouldn't know until after the car was stolen. Actually, I probably wouldn't know either way.
No.
Because the dealership didn't tell me about it, and I'm not going to call the dealership and be like, "Man, got the worst news, guys. Somebody stole my van."
Yeah, there's no way you called them.
Right.
And if you don't even realize that tracker's in the car, why the fuck?
No, that tracker. And I said to him, "Well, I don't want that."
Right.
And he told me that he couldn't remove it because it was a requirement of the credit union that holds my loan.
Huh. I don't question that that's the requirement. I can see it.
I don't know if that's true or not either.
But I can see it being a lie as well.
So I talked to a Grid Life buddy a little bit about this because he works for a dealership, and he said he didn't think that was true.
Okay. I'd never heard of it,
but I do think that that's in that car, not because they're concerned about it being stolen, but because they want to know where it is in case I'm not paying.
Right. It's for repossession.
Yeah, it's to make repo easier.
Yep. Yeah,
and I'm also relatively certain that it's wired into the vehicle, and that I probably can't just go in there and remove it.
No, I'm sure there's, just like on Too Fast, Too Furious, it's spidered into everything, as they say.
But I think it might literally be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's some sort of immobilizer to make it even easier to repo. But I don't know if that's true or
at
not.
$500, I wouldn't be surprised.
But yeah, it's $500 and it's pre-tax.
Oh, good.
So I paid taxes on it.
Lucky.
On a service I didn't ask for, I wasn't sold on, I wasn't even told was put on the vehicle.
We're not off to a great start.
So that was some of this. So, and then there were some other like federal fees and stuff like that I'm pretty sure
you won't get around.
They do actually have to put those things on there pre-tax. So fine, whatever.
Yep.
So that total came out to be for my $17,000 car, $20,000.
Almost $21,000.
Almost $21,000.
Yep.
And then they deduct the $10,000 down payment, and then they started adding other things. So I mentioned in the last show that we did, when we talked about this previously, I mentioned that it had an extended warranty.
Yes.
And I mentioned that I didn't really want it.
Correct.
And they pushed on it, and the salesman told me, well, it only adds like maybe $10 a month to your payment. What I didn't realize, because they don't explain this very well, and they're fucking burning through this paperwork so fast trying to not give you a chance to figure this out, is that I'm not paying the warranty company every month.
No.
The warranty is paid up front by my loan and added to the total lump sum of my loan. That warranty is $3,995.
Yep, plus a $200 documentation.
Well, there's a $200 document, which I assume is what they charge to go to the DMV.
Wouldn't that be registration fee and licensing fees?
No, I think that's
separate.
That's the license and registration fee for the vehicle. That's what I paid to the state for the license and registration fee.
What's the dealer documentation fee? Just you signing the papers?
No, I think the dealer documentation fee is like them going through the effort of getting the vehicle registered and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Still sucks.
Yeah.
All right.
So, but the what they call service contract, the warranty.
Yep.
It's $4,000.
Yep.
It's a 36-month warranty. It's a 3-year warranty, and my loan term is 6 years.
Yep.
So they put that $4,000 on top of my loan, or on top of
they lumped it into your loan.
Yeah. So my unpaid balance after my down payment was $10,800, and then this $4,000 went on top of that.
Yep.
So basically, what it amounts to is that I'm paying 6 years. If I just pay this minimum payments every month to pay this vehicle off, I'm paying for 3 years worth of warranty coverage over a 6-year period.
Yes, and you're paying interest on top of that.
8.6% interest on it.
Now is not the time to buy. That sucks, man. 8% sucks.
Yeah, super sucks.
But you need it.
Yeah, that's the shittiest part about this. So, they again, like we said earlier, it wasn't that the warranty was cheap. It's that when you stretch it out over 6 years, it probably really only does add about $10 a month to my payment.
Yep.
But it's $4,000 plus interest.
Yep.
So it's probably closer to $5,000 by the time the whole loan is paid out.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
So that I was able to go. So I went through the documentation on the loan, and I found that I can, within the first 30 days, I can have it canceled. And there's a $50 cancellation fee. So I went back in there, and that was the thing I was able to get changed. It comes off of there. What they told me is that it would take a couple of weeks before that money, and that money just goes to the credit union.
Yeah.
Which I actually don't like, because I'm sure the credit union probably won't take that money off my principal.
No, definitely not.
It'll just take it off my interest, which is super annoying. Because that's how they do things.
Yeah, they get that interest.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, like, if you look at your mortgage,
so
see where your interest goes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So I wish that money was coming to me, and that I could then take it and
add it to the principal.
I could call the bank and say, I want this taken off the principal of my loan. It's because it's just going to go straight to them, and it's not going to come off the principal. I all but guarantee it.
Yeah,
because that's not how banks work.
Nope.
Because the house always wins.
Yeah, there's the reason banks are.
So basically, for my $17,000 vehicle that I put $10,000 down on, after I paid, or if I pay this from start to finish, the minimum payments every month, is a $30,000 vehicle.
Yep, $29,583.
So total cost of purchase on credit, including my $10,000 down payment, is $29,583 on a $17,000 vehicle.
Holy fuck.
So if I wouldn't have, I mean, basically, I could damn near have bought a brand new van, a brand new one of these, because they're like 30, they start at like 33 or something like that.
And I don't know what new.
I would have got a better interest rate.
Yes, on new vehicles, absolutely.
My payment probably would have been the same or less on a brand new one with a manufacturer's warranty that's not costing me money.
Yes.
And it probably would have been the same term length. I mean, honestly, I shouldn't have bought this vehicle. Straight up. This was a bad financial decision once again.
But you went back.
I went back, and I'm getting $4,000 back.
Okay.
And I made them explain to me how we arrived at $20,000 sale price.
Yep, because it should have been 17.
Because it should have been 17. And I thought that they had fucked it up, because if you take the $1,200 in sales tax off of the $20,000, that 19 and change left is almost exactly what the original sale price when they put it on the lot to begin with was.
Right.
And so I thought they had fucked up their paperwork and charged me $2,000 more than they were advertising it at the time that I bought it.
Yes.
Because when it hit the lot, it was 19. And when I went in there to buy it, they had dropped it to 17.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I thought that they had charged me 19 anyway.
Yep. So yeah, you and I, and then obviously everyone else in the group chat,
Yeah,
we went through this line
through
by
this
line.
Yeah.
Because we were all trying to justify like what they got wrong or what you misunderstood, and we tried and we were trying to like bridge that gap, and we couldn't.
Right.
Because the numbers never made sense.
No, they didn't.
Not with the document they had. With the paperwork that you had that you sent us.
Because there's still another document that I didn't find the night that we were looking through this.
Yep.
That is the itemized line for how they arrived at $20,000.
Oh, okay.
That included that $500 fee for that bullshit tracker.
Yep.
And the other government fees that they have to pay that I will give them credit for.
Yep.
And that's how we arrived at that and then the $1,200 in sales tax. That's how we arrived at the 20,000. So there was another page that I didn't open or didn't find that night.
Gotcha.
That we never saw when we were trying to go through this. Because, like, I mean, there's 6 or 8 of us in that chat at this point, and like all of us were like, "What the fuck is going on, man? This is like, I got screwed."
We agreed that you got fucked on the service contract,
which I was pretty certain I was anyway. But it's incredible how quickly they try to rush you through this.
Oh yeah,
the sales guy. I asked about the warranty, and he just rushed me through it. I asked about some of these things, and they give you the bare minimum answer, and then move to the next thing as quickly as they can, so you don't have time to keep asking questions.
Right.
This is such an orchestrated thing. It's insane, and this isn't. I bought this at Dewey Auto Outlet.
Here in town, Des Moines.
In Des Moines. This is not some tiny little buy here, pay here, hole in the wall, sketch ass dealership.
Right.
They're they own new car lot. Like, it's a huge dealer network.
Oh yeah.
So this isn't something that I got screwed because I went to the shadiest dealership in Des Moines.
Which, yeah, you didn't.
No, that's not what happened here. I went to what on the outside appears to be the upstanding dealership that you feel like you should be able to trust not to screw you over. And still, I mean, I don't know that I can really truly say I got screwed over, but they definitely...
It was a little bit of a bait and switch.
I
don't want to sit here and say, like, they fucked you, but, like...
No, because honestly, this is, at the end of the day, this is still my fault. I'm not going to try and say that it's anything short of my fault. I should have made them slow down. I should have looked over this more carefully.
But after you've been there an hour and a half, 2 hours, like by the time you're ready to go, man.
And
they know that.
I should have done more research before I went in there. I should have known what I should expect is roughly my monthly payment.
Yep.
Instead of just like accepting what came to me at face value,
and then looking at it the next day with clear eyes and going, wait a second.
Well, I looked at it because I got my first statement from Veridian Credit Union.
Yep. And
it's for $15,000. And I was like, wait a second.
This is like way off.
How did I end up with a $15,000 car loan on a $17,000 car that I paid $10,000 down on?
Yep.
What the fuck happened here?
Yep.
Because I never looked back at my paperwork. They give it to you. They don't give you paperwork.
They give you thumb drives.
They give you a little thumb drive. And you just toss that thumb drive to the side. Dude, I tore my house apart looking for that thing.
Jeez.
Because I didn't think I'd ever need to look at it again. What did I care?
Yeah, it's all taken care of. Man,
So basically why I wanted to go over this is not because I wanted to try and point a finger at Dewey and say they're the worst place in the fucking world and no one should ever do business with them and no. Send them letters full of boogers. Like, what I wanted to talk about, or why I wanted to talk about this, is because I want people to not make the same mistake I did.
Yep.
So when you do go and buy a vehicle, if you are buying it on a loan, take some time to look at this before you go in. Like, literally, if I would have just Googled that and put those numbers into that auto loan calculator that I think both you and Dusty did.
Yeah, you didn't need all of this. Yeah, you didn't need all of this to come up with the number you should be at. And
that number that it spit out is literally half what I am going to end up paying.
Right.
And I saw that number and thought, man, that seems high, but okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, because when I bought my truck, they had a 6-month warranty on all used vehicles. It's just.
But that was through the dealer.
That's
right?
through the. That's what they do for all their vehicles.
Because this is a third party.
Yeah, no, there was no extended warranty. It was you get if I buy I bought from Vernite in Mitchell, South Dakota.
Yep.
They have a dealer network all over South Dakota.
They're a big dealer as well.
It was the only place that had the truck I wanted. They knew it was the truck I wanted. I called them and said I can be there on Saturday or whatever the hell day it was because it was the 4th of July weekend. I said I want to test drive it. I was obviously fucking buying that truck.
Yeah.
Unless something went wrong, I wasn't leaving without that truck.
Right.
They knew it.
Right.
I got there. There was no negotiating on the price. The price was what it was. That's fine. We negotiated on the price of the Avalanche for trade-in. Again, lower than I wanted, but it was a trade-in. I wasn't going to get $9,000 for my truck.
Right.
It just wasn't worth it.
Right.
And I bought it in July of 2020 when interest rates were here.
They're not where they are now.
Way down here.
Yeah.
So, but it makes me appreciate that when he said we have a 6-month warranty on all vehicles that we sell.
But had you needed that warranty here in Des Moines, you couldn't have done anything with it. It was through Vern-ID.
It was, yeah, I would have had to get it back to them,
which you ended up actually doing.
I actually never left because
I
made it halfway across town and one of the coil packs died.
Right, yeah.
And so they sent me home with a different truck and they fixed it.
I think,
and then they delivered it to Des Moines.
I do honestly think that if that would have happened to me, that Dewey would have fixed that.
For sure. Yeah,
for free.
I don't question that.
I don't have the list, but there was a list of like $5,000 worth of things they did to that van when they got it in to their, because there's a shop attached to the back of this used car dealership.
Yep.
And I think all they do is work on either vehicles that they sold or vehicles that they're selling. Yes. I don't think you can just roll in there and be like, yeah, I need my oil changed.
No, I'm sure they're
like, you didn't buy your car from here, so go across the street to that Jiffy Lube and get your oil changed then.
Yep.
But they did a bunch of stuff to it, and actually when we test drove it, it had like the typical overweight American tear in the seat on the top of the bolster on the left side of the seat.
Yep.
Because
that's what we do.
Yeah, that's what we do here in America is we tear that bolster. So it, and they fixed that. It's not like the best leather repair on the planet by any stretch of the imagination, but they fixed it without me asking them to do it, and they didn't charge me for it from anywhere I saw anyway.
Yeah.
So they tried to take care of some things, and I think they would have taken care of that. Yeah. But the warranty that you got was a warranty that the dealership was offering, and that's different.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely for sure. I'm sure I could have gotten an extended warranty.
Oh yeah,
I flat out
they would have
said,
sold that to you if you'd asked for it.
I think they even offered it. I said I don't. I'm
sure they did.
I say I work on my own vehicles. I don't want it.
I told them the same thing, and they pushed back against me, and I just
and that's
didn't
what I
feel like fighting it, and I'm paying for it now.
Yep, and that's what I appreciate about the guy that I bought mine from, because he seemed pretty straight up.
Yeah.
And when I told him something, he didn't press it too hard.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's trying to make a sale.
Yeah.
And so, when we went back and forth on the sale, I was like, I'd like to get a little bit more for the Avalanche. He's like, well, this is honestly the best I can do. And I don't think he was lying. It's because they didn't that truck left the lot and went straight to the auction. Before that's why I didn't drive it home, is because it was already fucking gone to the auction. Yeah. They didn't care. That car was fucking gone. Oh, they were not going to sell it. It meant nothing to them.
That's what we did it when I worked at a dealership in high school too. Yep. I mean, there's so many of those cars that because I worked in the wash bay, there were so many of those cars that I didn't even rinse.
Oh yeah,
we just sent them straight to the auction.
Yep. So it was a 2018 Silverado LTZ with the max trailering package for $32,000.
Right.
I wasn't going to get a better deal on that truck.
No, not really.
Anywhere.
Right.
It's an expensive truck.
Yeah. The max trailering package is probably not super easy to find.
It's not common at all. They knew it. And even at $32,000,
especially
in 2020,
this part of the country, most of those people that want that towing package are just going to buy a 2500.
Yeah.
They're going to buy a 3/4 ton truck.
I've only seen a couple of them, period.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did.
But especially
it was worth it, and that price.
In Farmer, Iowa, South Dakota, they're just going to buy 3/4 tons.
Yeah,
half tons are toy trucks that city folks use.
Yeah,
around.
Yeah, you jack them up.
Yeah, well, they jack up 3/4 tons too.
That's fair. But yeah, I mean but when I got my paperwork, it was the trade-in value of the truck, the free bed cover that I asked for, just to make me feel like I got something out of the deal.
All right, fair enough.
And then, because that was like my final thing, like my final push to all right, we'll settle on this for the Avalanche. How about a tonneau cover for free? And he kind of looks at me and smiles. You got it. I was like, whatever.
It cost him $200.
Yeah, I was gonna say about. It means that they would have threw it in for free no matter what.
Probably.
But when I got home, I was like, the loan was for exactly what I thought it was going to be. My payment was exactly what I expected it to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm sure like if I wouldn't have been like, no, I'm not buying extended warranty. I will accept whatever consequence I take. And he, for whatever reason, that they did not press it, and I appreciated that.
Yeah. So,
but I know that's not the norm.
Yeah, basically the long and skinny of this is when you go into these things, be careful.
Be aware. Like, just do your research.
Yeah.
Like, think through what we just talked about. And
go in, because they will readily show you your monthly payment. That's a number they didn't try to hide from me.
Right.
And I should have known that monthly payment was radically higher than what I should have expected it to be based on what I thought I was buying. Mm-hmm. I should have known that going in.
Yep. I knew I was going to.
That one tiny little piece of information would have saved so much headache for me.
Oh, yeah.
And it would have taken me 30 seconds.
Because it would have been a red flag right off the bat. Like, hey, this ain't right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, Katie knew that.
She walked out going, did you?
Because when she found the vehicle, it popped. She found it on their website, and it had what you should expect to pay every month for it.
Yeah, I say usually that's
without the $10,000 down payment.
Yep.
And that number was even drastically lower than what they spit out.
Yeah.
But Katie didn't say anything because she just didn't think that.
She didn't want to overstep. Like,
right.
maybe I'm missing something.
Because, she just she knows.
Well, how many car loans has she done? You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
yeah, she knows, just let me do my thing. And,
right.
And I kind of wish she wouldn't have.
But I don't question her not saying anything either.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
Like, if I was with you and I'd never bought a car like that before, and I just went off of what the website said, I was like, well, maybe the website's wrong. So I would question the website before I'd question you.
This is now the second vehicle that I have bought or gotten a loan through a deal. No, this is the third vehicle I've gotten a loan through a dealership on. And I would say this is the second time that I feel like I made a financial mistake that I'm going to be paying for a long time.
Well, hopefully the vehicle is a good vehicle.
Right now, what my hopes and dreams are on this right now is that I always get a fat tax return because it's just the way
it's set up.
Things are set up for me.
Yep.
And so I'm probably just going to pay when I get that tax return, I'm going to call the bank and tell them to put it towards the principal.
Yep.
And then I think after that, and after this $4,000 hits, I think I might refinance.
Yeah,
because if nothing else, I can get my monthly payment down.
Yes,
because I was anticipating. In my mind, I was going to have like $8,000 to $9,000 loan.
Yes,
and I was going to be paying like probably at least $5,000 of it right off.
Yes,
gone
as fast. Yeah, as fast as you possibly.
And then I was going to have it paid off by the end of 2023. At that point.
Yes, and
at this, it won't happen that way.
No,
but if I can pay a bunch off and then refinance and get a lower monthly payment, I can survive this.
Yeah, and if interest rates kind of keep trickling down, you can time it right. You know what I mean?
And I wonder if I go directly to
Viridian.
Well, so I've been kind of thinking about. I currently bank at Wells Fargo to go way into a personal area. I currently bank at Wells Fargo, and I don't like it.
I will say that I currently bank or unbank, as they say, at Community Choice Credit Union.
Yeah. So,
and they have been nothing short of excellent.
When I opened my bank account when I was 19 years old,
you were traveling.
I was traveling full time, and this was 15 years ago. Smartphones didn't exist the way they do now.
Nope.
I had a BlackBerry, and I was pretty fucking uptown. But mobile banking was not a thing. And I was traveling all over the country, and I was needing money. I was needing to be able to get access to the money that I had anywhere in the country. And so I didn't want to use a credit union because a lot of times they only have a handful of branches, and that's it.
Right. They're local.
Right.
Usually.
Yeah. So I went with Wells Fargo because I knew no matter where I was, there'd be a Wells Fargo nearby.
Which was a very, at the time, very logical choice.
Made sense. But I think my mom, who's very money savvy and is an accountant and has been a tax person for her entire life, tells me that if you have a lot of money, Wells Fargo is a great place to bank.
I believe that.
But I don't have a lot of money.
Yeah, she's talking the tax brackets that we're not in.
Right. Right. And so I think this might be the catalyst for me fixing that problem too.
Yep. So I will say that my experiences with the local credit union has been very good.
Yeah.
Because the reason I went there originally was because when I bought that Rogue, I was just shy. Like it was kind of like the same
I remember
setup.
that. You just needed a little bit of money.
It was like between $3,000 and $5,000. It was like it was enough that I couldn't justify just like emptying my account to pay for it. So I bought I needed an account. I had to open an account there, and then got my loan there. It was even then too. It was like some crazy like low interest rate. It was like 1.9 or something.
Right, and that's kind of what I'm hoping is maybe if I'm a customer with the credit union, I might be able to get a better interest rate.
Yep. So then also when I bought my truck, they finance through whatever credit place that they do that they prefer, and then Community Choice called me up and said, "Hey, we see that you're paying." We'll say Wells Fargo. It might not have been, but we'll say we see you're paying an auto loan to Wells Fargo. We would like to buy that, and that would make your interest rate this and your payment this, and then we would obviously then we just take from this account and we'll pay it.
Right.
I was like, okay,
that sounds great.
Yeah, do it, and they did, and it was like great.
Yeah.
So I've had great experience with the local credit union, so that'd be I would say look there.
Yeah, I think this might be the catalyst for me fixing my Wells Fargo woes as well. Is that maybe I can get a better interest rate, and refinance and get the lower payment I want, and then I might be able to come out of this semi not.
I think you'll
because like
it sucks now, but I think by the time it's all said and done, I think you'll be okay.
So that's a 2017, so it's right
6 years old.
So it's 6 years old already. It'll be 12 years old by the time it's paid off if I just leave it the way it is and just pay minimum monthly payments every month.
That's how they get you, which of course you're not going to do.
That's crazy.
We're going to get into predictions. One of my predictions was that we're going to have record defaults on auto loans in 2023.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was at on it too.
I took it off my list. I didn't want to talk about it.
It's going to be the housing crisis, except in cars.
Auto loans. Yeah.
And the amounts of money aren't that radically different, sadly, because cars are expensive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the 6, 7, 8 year car loans are a thing. And it's going to be becoming more of a thing. So, no, the fact that I haven't had to go that route, and I've timed it. I will admit, I couldn't have timed my auto loan any better.
Yeah, I couldn't have timed it any worse.
Right, July of 2020 was the perfect time to buy a truck.
Yeah.
January of 2023, not so much.
Not so much. So, long story short, not that I think I'm telling anybody anything they didn't already know, but fucking be careful.
Yeah.
Because even if you feel like you're going in there and like, oh, I know their games. They're really good at them.
They practice every day.
They're really,
you don't get
really,
that. You don't
really,
get
really,
you don't
really,
get that.
really good at it.
Yep. You got to remember, they're not your friend.
No.
So,
and they're really good at making you feel like they are.
Yep. I will say that the guy that I bought my Avalanche from did a really good job of that. And I got that Bob Brown Chevy here in Des Moines. I have no complaints. Yeah. Everything went as good as I could ever ask.
Yeah.
And then Ryan from Vernite. He still sends me a birthday card.
What a guy. What a guy. Because, like, if I remember right, the Rogue came from, like, the shadiest Des Moines dealership that you could almost pick.
It was at Colfax, and they sell tractor parts, but they also have, like, a handful of cars they sell.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think it was an auction car. So
I'm not convinced there wasn't some title fraud that happened there.
Whatever. It's fine. Well, it wasn't fine because the transmission was shit. But again, I could have gone a lot worse.
Yeah.
Because like even then, like, yeah, because I went to he's like, I want you to go to this credit union. We work with them and it's great. And then like they just gave me the car and told me to leave. And like they trusted me to take the title to the credit union.
Yeah,
it was the weirdest shit.
So the one thing about the van that could have fucked me and I should have also thought about that turned out to not be that big a deal for me. I didn't think about it, but like going from a 2007 Honda Odyssey to a 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, probably should have made sure my insurance wasn't going to fucking skyrocket.
Ooh. Yeah.
So I have the same. I've always the main vehicle that we drive as a family, I've always kept with pretty high insurance on it. It's full coverage, even though like the van wasn't really worth anything.
But you still want
and it's paid off, but like
fucked over.
If I crash it, I need the money to buy another one. It's not like
and if you have a loan against it, you have to have full coverage.
Well, yeah, but I didn't like. When the Blazer was our primary mode of transportation, it had full coverage.
Right.
When the Odyssey was our primary mode of transportation, it had full coverage. Like I've always just kept the primary one fully covered, because if it does get wiped out for whatever reason, I need money to buy a different one.
Yes.
I don't just have $5,000 sitting in my bank account for a crashy day.
Right.
So, that's always been my thought process on it. Yeah, it's kind of expensive, but what are you going to do? Like the Blazer now has like basically the lowest amount of insurance that I can legally get by with.
Yep.
Because I put 1,000 miles a year on it.
See, like I have, so when I've registered or put insurance on the Focus once I got it running.
Yep.
Because I have an insurance agent. So one thing I actually like have a guy for.
Yep.
So I emailed the guy.
I have a guy. I've been a State Farm customer since I was 16 years old.
Yep. I still use the same insurance agent from my hometown back in Hull.
I moved insurance agents because I got tired of
everything can be done over email, so I really don't.
Yeah. It's fine. Well, I'm just old enough that wasn't a possibility before.
It was always with Renee. And then she moved to a different business, and now I have to deal with
this bitch.
I have to deal with Chris now.
Fucking Chris. Yeah. I haven't met a Chris I like.
Actually, I like this guy. He's fine.
It's fine.
But yeah, it's like I emailed him and said, I bought this Focus. I'm going to drive it to and from work. I paid nothing for it.
Like seriously. Like,
I think my exact verbiage in the email was, I bought this car for a song and a dance.
I don't want money when this thing gets crashed.
I said, I want the cheapest insurance that I can legally get.
Yeah.
Or bundle it in a way with my house, because everything's bundled. You know?
Yeah, mine is too.
I was like, bundle it in a way that makes the most sense. If it makes sense to put full coverage on it and it lowers my payment on something else, whatever. Just make it make sense. Because as you know, I live more than 20 minutes away from a fire station, which makes my house insurance fucking sucks.
Yep. So, thankfully, the Pacifica is $3 a month more than the Honda, which I think I'll be able to manage.
Okay. Is yours new enough that registration will be expensive?
Well, based on this, the registration wasn't that bad.
$230. No, that's not bad.
I've owned old enough cars my entire adult life that still feels like a lot of money for registration.
Yeah. Well,
because I've always owned in Iowa, they bottom out. Like it gets old, and so the newer the car, the more expensive because it's different in every state. Yeah, apparently. So the newer the car, the more expensive it is, and at some point it bottoms out, and it's just $65 a year.
Unless it's a pickup,
then it's like $35 a year, just like from the start, isn't it?
I think so, because it's like agriculture. Thank you, farmers. Because the Edge was like a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. The amount of money that it is based on its
MSRP or
whatever. It's MSRP
for X number of years or whatever.
Yeah,
which is crazy because it's like this is 2013, so it's not new,
right?
But like the Edge was very expensive. Like, so when I bought the truck, the Edge was I'm trying to think how this all played out because Jess was like offended. She was ready to call and complain to the registration office because the truck was like $35.
Yeah, I think it's $35 a year.
I think they changed that, but like when I first bought it, was like $35, and the Edge was like
$400 or $500.
I think it was like $400. It was way too much money.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, it's all right there. I mean, it's on. Like if you look at the registration site, this is what its rate is.
I'm not the idiot who bought a $50,000 Platinum Edition Edge. What do you want from me?
Yeah. I just bought this clapped out agriculture truck. I don't know what to tell you.
Farm truck.
I think they changed it, but it's still like the truck is still cheaper.
It's still cheaper. Yeah. They did change it, but it's still cheaper than registering the equivalent normal passenger vehicle.
Yeah, for sure.
So it isn't that much money, but it is still kind of a shock because I'm used to spending $65 a year because everything I've ever owned is bottomed out.
Yeah. I think the Focus was $30.
No, I think it's still
35.
I want to say that's $65 a year for like literally everything else except trucks.
I just paid. I just paid the
Maybe
Focus.
maybe it's $35.
I think it was like
a year. I don't know.
$35.
Maybe it is $35 a year.
Because the Edge is still. The Edge was expensive. I haven't paid. I think this year should be the year that it really drops off, and then I don't have the Z registered for the street. It's insured, but it's not registered.
Right.
Yes, because in 2020, no one pulled you over for license plates.
No,
So I drove it for a whole year.
We were talking about. It's funny. We were talking at work about what we miss about COVID.
Yeah,
And there were like a couple things that people were, and I was like, no. I missed the COVID commute. It was so good.
Nobody on the road.
No, basically only construction employees.
Mm-hmm.
And like some factory workers.
Yes.
But like people who actually know how to drive. Yeah, I fucking said it. Dude, we did 90 miles an hour. Actually, when I got into Des Moines, I had to speed up. Where normally you got to slow down.
Way down.
And during COVID times, 3580, literally the Autobahn.
Yeah.
I could do 90 miles an hour and get past multiple times from the Mixmaster to the 141 exit.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
We even in 21 doing one lap. You know,
Yeah.
we still kind of had that going for us.
Yeah. But at 6:30 in the morning, God, I miss it so much.
Empty roads.
It's not that way anymore.
I also miss not getting invited to things. That was nice. Hey, you doing this thing? Nah, I can't. COVID. Yeah.
It's not worth the risk.
I still use that excuse all the time, but it doesn't really hold weight anymore. Like, what are you talking about? No, I can't go. It's COVID. It's
Sorry, man.
Yeah, I got a cough, a mask. It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on.
Yeah, let's
to a topic because we've only done half a show. This financial advice presented by Petrobox, mypetrobox.com. Some great financial advice is to head over to mypetrobox.com and use the code TTP15. You get 15% off that first box plus everything available in the shop. I have sad news though. An awesome shirt came out this month.
One of the greatest.
One of the best shirts.
It's never going to hit the store, is it?
It will.
Oh, okay.
So what happened was I made a comment on the show.
Yep.
A penny saved is a penny race card, and they turned it into a shirt. And as a result, there's also a sticker, a 10 Tenths Podcast sticker in the box.
It's a great shirt.
Yep.
John did a really good job with that one.
So mine showed up, and it's a new shirt, so I just tossed it in the wash.
Uh-huh.
And I pulled it out of the wash after I did my laundry, and I noticed it was like stuck together. I don't know if it's like gum or glue or what. Like, it's the only shirt that had any problem with it. I don't know. Maybe I said overloaded, and it was like those Tide Pod things. Maybe like I don't. Either way, the shirt was stuck to itself.
Okay.
So I'm like messing with it, trying to pull it apart. I just fucking ripped it. I didn't even get a chance to wear it. I'm so mad at myself.
So, like, I don't know because I never know. Half the time in our group chat, I don't know if people are fucking around or serious.
We're never serious, but yes.
E-Man said he put gum in it.
No, I accused him of doing that, and then he followed through on the joke saying that he put it on the inside.
Oh.
And I know it's not true. Also, for the fact that it was stuck like
from the outside.
Ah,
damn it! I really wanted that to
be
true.
I accused Jess of putting gum because she chews gum.
I chew gum all the time.
I accused her of leaving gum in her pocket, and that's why my shirt was ruined.
Damn it!
But I don't know if it was gum.
What else would it have been?
I think if you're overloaded and you have that Tide Pod and it gets stuck in the shirt and it doesn't like the casing.
Yeah.
I think if that doesn't get completely washed away and it dries inside the shirt, it basically glues itself shut.
Oh.
So I think that's what happened is that I happened chance threw the Tide Pod in. It got wrapped up in that shirt. It did its thing enough to let all the soap and stuff out, but that casing didn't dissolve enough and it ended up drying inside the shirt.
I didn't know people still use Tide Pods.
Oh, yeah, that's all we do.
They're expensive, Robbie.
I've grown accustomed to a certain style of living.
Let me guess, you got like 2 dozen eggs in your fridge, too?
Only a dozen.
Jesus fucking Christ.
cage free. No, I don't. I'm kidding.
Robbie's got $50 worth of eggs in his fridge right now. Jesus Christ.
You wouldn't believe the quality of toilet paper I have in this house.
Remember when chicken was cheap?
Yeah.
Chicken and eggs?
Yeah, like you get a whole thing for $1.
Yeah. You buy a dozen eggs for like $1.60.
Yeah. You get,
and like 2 pounds of chicken costs you like $3.50.
Yep. And then you could get a loaf of bread for 99 cents and then bananas for like $1 a pound.
Yeah. 2021, let me tell you, things I miss about COVID.
Yep. But great excitement of having that Petrobox show up at my door. So if you want to get great excitement, mypetrobox.com. And I'm sure that shirt will eventually be in the store where I can buy it again, and I'll be fine with that.
Whatever, John will send you one because he's the nicest man in the world.
That's true. Actually, he should send me like a bunch of them so I can give them out to my friends.
Frankly, like, I realize that, like, we probably could have pushed this more if we wanted, but, like, it's about damn time we had a shirt.
Yeah, because he asked me, he's like, so what, like, is it okay if we use this logo? And I was like, yeah, of course.
Obviously.
And, like, I didn't even think about it. I'm like, you know what? We don't cash in on this podcast enough. and I'll be honest, I don't want to do a paywall. I fucking hate it. So
no, I don't really
I will be candid about that. I fucking hate
really
the idea.
like the idea either.
So it's just me. I would rather do a free show and not make money.
My thing less about that and more about the fact that we struggle enough to do the regular show weekly.
Adding another one, yeah.
To think about like trying to do a Patreon only show with any regularity sounds just
which makes me feel even more guilty because if you are paying for it and then we don't fucking do a show,
right.
So I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But where was I going with that? Oh, but yeah. So he asked me like, is it okay if we use this design? I was like, yeah, of course. And then like a day or two later, I was like, you know what? Put a sticker in the box. Like just make it worth my while.
Yeah. So,
because I was gonna have him like put 1010's podcast on the shirt. I'm like, it's your shirt. It's your shirt.
Yeah,
just put a sticker in the box. Just put a sticker in the box.
That's cool.
MyPetrobox.com. All right, it's the time for the topic.
Remember when we used to do topics?
And the news.
The news, gross.
We would have done an opener, the topic, and news, and be done.
Yeah,
that's okay. But these will go fast. I promise.
I don't have shit.
Well, you didn't have shit last year.
Yeah, apparently not. Jesus Christ. Backstory. We went, like, I swear we wrote all this down last year, but apparently we didn't.
I did. I wrote mine down.
You did.
Apparently. Well, you only had one to write down, apparently.
Turns out that I didn't write it down because turns out we didn't write it down because my phone was dead.
Yes, I remember that. Oh, yeah. We listened to the show and
and so I literally just have one prediction apparently
from last year.
All
right, what was it again? I don't think even.
My guess was that EVs, that we'd figure out that the manufacturers would figure out range increase and make the range problem relatively fixed.
Yeah, get rid of the range anxiety.
But that the charge time wouldn't go down far enough that I feel like it doesn't matter anymore. And I still think that that's probably... So we do at this point have quite a few cars that have the 350 to 400 mile range.
That's pretty common.
Which I think is what you get out of a gas car.
Roughly, yeah.
Yep. But the charge time is still...
significant.
Just as high as it ever has been. It really hasn't changed dramatically.
I think the only...
It's certainly not enough that I feel like it's like close enough to being the same that I can get my head around it.
I think the only company that's really making waves with that is Neo, and not in America.
Right.
Because they could do... I think they could do... It's not a full charge, but they could do like a rapid charge. It's like 800 volts, and they have to have like special cable.
You're never going to get that at your house.
No, and it's at their special charging station. They could do whatever it was. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like almost a full charge in like 12 minutes.
Right.
But yeah, you're talking like 800 volts, and they have to have special things on it because otherwise it gets too hot.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know about but a lithium ion fire. It's probably not a thing I want to.
Turns out they're super dangerous, and
they keep igniting.
Just like long term, they're dangerous.
Yeah. So like, when a battery cell gets damaged, like if you watch the Grand Tour, because like he crashed that with the Rivian, the Rimac,
yeah,
and it burst into flames. and it kept bursting into flames because every time a cell would get damaged, it would self-combust.
Yep.
And then it would damage the next one. And so on. I mean, there's like, what, 4,000 cells?
Yes, crazy.
So, yeah, but that is, if they could do it in 12 minutes safely, that is a very impressive feat.
Yeah. But you're never going to get, and I suppose that the argument could be made that, like, if it's the cars at home, really, I don't need it to be able to charge itself in 12 minutes at home.
Correct.
Fine, sure, I get that, but I still take a lot of road trips. I don't want to sit at a gas station for 45 minutes every 200 miles.
Right. It's not feasible. I have a hard enough time making it to things already. You had a 4-hour break in between?
I am known for being semi-leisurely with my travel schedules.
Yes.
And then I bitch endlessly when I'm with someone who's not as leisurely as I am.
Yep.
But that's too much for me.
Yeah, if I'm forced to take a 45-minute break every 3 hours, 4 hours, it's too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you on that. So,
but
anyway, that was my one prediction from last year, and I was right. Hooray.
Yeah, I'll give you that. All right, so we can go through mine. I had 4.
You had more because you're better at this than I am. Yeah.
My first one was that the Formula One Miami Grand Prix will be a financial success, but the racing will be trash. I will say that's pretty true.
I mean, it was good enough to do it twice.
Yeah, financially, the track's not great, and they're not making any changes, and that makes people upset. I don't. The racing wasn't complete trash. I didn't think the track was horrible, but the weird little zigzag at the end was super unnatural for the cars. And they didn't change that for 2023.
Right.
And then, like, this was before we knew about the stupid marina, like the fake water. So I made this prediction before that. But I mean, they're charging like astronomical amounts of money, and it's just a bunch of the A-listers and elites that are going. I mean,
Formula One is not a thing that you can go to anymore.
Not in America. COTA, COTA you can afford to go to.
Can you still?
Yes.
Okay.
But if you and I wanted to go to the Las Vegas Grand Prix,
no.
1, it's already too late.
Yeah.
And 2, it's not a fucking financial option. No. And neither is Miami. It's not an option.
I assume Vegas is worse.
Vegas is worse, yes.
But still.
But Formula One knows there's enough money in America and people are willing to spend it that there's enough elites that are going to pay it. So it's making money.
It's crazy to me.
But these are not great racing tracks.
It's crazy to me that we have 3 Formula One races in America this year.
Yeah.
I'd have never put that down as a prediction last year.
3? No.
3's crazy.
2? Yes. I would believe consistently doing 2.
3's crazy.
The country's big enough. I can see 2.
Yeah.
3 is wild.
Yeah, I know, because when you think about, like, if you look at Europe versus the United States,
yep.
Like, most of our states aren't that far off from
their countries
in, like, size and even, for some of them, population.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, Iowa's a relatively low population state, but we still have more than than some of our Western brethren.
Yep.
Until you get too far west.
Yeah, that's just cold and sad.
And then there's California, which is back the other way again. There's a shitload of people.
Oh, I thought you were talking. Okay, never mind.
But like Nebraska Colorado's kind of changed. Colorado, but like Montana, Wyoming, Utah. They're pretty quiet places.
They're fucking great.
It sounds amazing, doesn't it?
Utah sounds awesome.
Dude, I would love to live in Montana. It'd be amazing. Anyway, but like a lot of the states aren't that far off from countries. So like it kind of makes, because like, yeah, if you look at Europe's got at least 3.
Yeah, a bunch of races.
Yeah, so okay, fine. I guess that makes sense. But if you don't look at it that way, it's like, God damn, we got 3 of them in one country. We're kicking ass, taking names.
But I'm not surprised based on the popularity of the Netflix specials and all that stuff. So
yeah, which I have not watched a single minute of.
I stopped watching after the 3rd season. I didn't watch any of last season, and I'm not going to watch this season.
Yeah.
If they do an IndyCar one, I will for sure give it a fair shot.
Yeah, everyone's trying to get theirs in.
All I really want, it's not even a documentary. It is the IMSA from the 80s TV show. I want that. That's what I want.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the only thing I know. I know it's someone's working it in the background.
Yeah.
And I think there's some financing involved. That's all I want.
Yeah.
But I want it to have a proper budget and I want it to be good.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to take credit for that one.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
All right. My next one, we'll go back to the picture of the Lightning.
Oh, yeah. The Ford Lightning.
I predicted that the Ford Lightning will be a success, will sell more than any other EV in the U.S. Nope. However, won't shake a stick to the F-150 sales. So
that's probably true.
So the Ford Lightning was a success. It's gotten great reviews.
I've seen one or two of them here in Des Moines.
Yep. The pricing was good. The pricing was right.
Yep.
The styling was right. The usefulness was right.
Yep. I think there's one thing that hurt the Lightning, and it was out of Ford's control.
What was that?
The Rivian.
Yes.
I see a lot of Rivians.
A surprising amount of Rivians.
Yeah, they sell a lot of them.
Which is also a good truck.
There's one in Nevada.
Plenty in Des Moines.
Right, but like, I don't know. I'm sure there's a Tesla in Nevada, but I can't think of one right off the top of my head. I know where a Rivian is.
Yep. So I see a handful of Rivians around. The thing about the Lightning is you kind of notice them.
One of your rich neighbors for sure has a Rivian.
They got Teslas.
Well, yeah, but one of them's got a Rivian.
Yeah.
Because I need a truck.
Yeah. So, I mean, you see the light. Every once in a while you catch a Lightning, but at the same time, they don't stick out quite like
they don't really
Rivian.
stick out, no, but I would notice it if I saw it.
Yep.
But there's a few of them.
So I don't get to claim victory on it because it did not sell more than any.
I think
it's more of a manufacturing thing because they sold 13,000 of them.
That's a lot.
But they also
more than I thought.
They also didn't
Still
have
not that many though.
Yeah, they didn't have manufacturing all the way up because like they're expecting to ship 150,000 in 2023. Now that their production is up to snuff, and they're already sold out through 2024.
That's a lot.
So I mean, that puts them on pace with the Model 3.
Yeah,
but obviously they didn't do it last year, not because of lack of interest, but because of lack of production. So
common problem for a lot of car manufacturers right now.
And of course, it didn't shake a stick at F-150 sales,
no,
which was a gimme. Which was
it
a
won't
gimme.
for years
Or ever. They sell like 1 billion of them.
Well,
like 700,000
one of
a year.
my predictions would tie into this.
Okay, cool.
So we'll talk about it again here in a little bit.
All right, so that was that. This one. Yeah, this one didn't go anywhere. I had that data privacy will be a hot topic on new vehicles.
I don't think it isn't.
It isn't, but it's not getting a lot of traction, like in the news. Or
no,
like,
but it's been a problem,
and it's going to continue to be.
Yeah.
So I still think this is. Sorry, congestion.
Yep.
I still think it's going to be a concern, but I don't think it didn't blow up into anything. So I'm not going to take credit for it and say like, yeah, that was a great prediction because it really didn't go anywhere. I predicted that Cars 4 would be announced.
God, I fucking wish
it didn't happen, and there's no line of sight for it anywhere.
It's gonna happen, Robbie.
But to be fair,
I would almost
ending on the way Cars 3 ended is
let's
probably
end on a high note, man. The Cars 3 was a good. Well, so okay, how about this? Because I think that the landscape of how we consume our video stuff has changed dramatically, even in the last year.
Oh, for sure.
They did release like a Cars mini series
on Disney Plus.
On Disney Plus.
Was it any good?
It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. But it was like Lightning McQueen and Mater did a road trip, and each episode is like them staying at a place and getting into shenanigans.
Of course.
Right. And but that came out this year. And honestly, that could almost be considered a movie. And I think moving forward that you're going to see more and more of those things that like Star Wars has really shown that like The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan Kenobi and stuff like that. Yeah, they're TV shows, but like I'll be the first one to be critical about this Star Wars stuff. You could take all of the dumb, boring bullshit out of those and pack that into an hour and a half or 2 hour movie, and it would be a much better viewing experience, in my opinion. I said it, deal with it.
Yeah, I won't disagree.
So, like, I could almost I'll give you 50% credit for this because of the miniseries.
Okay. That was more credit than I was going to take.
Well, you probably didn't even know it happened because that's not in your wheelhouse.
No, I mean, I like cars, and like, if
right, but like,
I'll sit down and watch it.
Child who would watch the miniseries on Disney Plus.
Yes, I don't have Disney Plus, and I'm not going to sit down and watch the series on it. Actually, last night I was trying to watch the Iowa State game, and it kept buffering. And I said to Jess, if it buffers one more fucking time, I'm getting ESPN Plus right now.
What was it streaming on?
Don't worry about it.
Oh.
The internet. But I told her, I was like...
USB drive fell off a truck in your front yard, you just picked it up, and it happened to be the game you wanted to watch?
Yeah, it was the craziest thing.
It's interesting.
It's just some site.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. But I told her, like, if this buffers one more time, I'm paying the $6 for ESPN Plus. But I already have Hulu, so it makes sense to get the package that has
Katie and I just, like, literally today went through and double-checked our...
streaming
all
services?
All of our streaming services, yeah.
Yeah, so we have Amazon Prime, because
you basically have to at this point.
Peacock and Hulu.
So we have Netflix, Disney Plus, and Prime.
Yep.
And I get HBO Max through AT&T.
Oh, nice.
For free.
See, I watch enough sports that I should really have ESPN Plus. And if I have Hulu and ESPN Plus, Disney Plus is basically free. So we've talked about doing it for like 3 years and just haven't done it.
Like, probably 80% of my TV viewing that I do personally and not as a family is done off of Disney Plus.
I can see that. That's it.
Mostly because I just watch Star Wars TV shows.
See, I bought...
But I like the old ones because the new ones suck.
I got Peacock for IndyCar and IMSA. And that alone is worth every penny.
I thought... Oh, I'd pay for Motor Trend too.
Oh, nope, didn't do that. I did that for a while, but
for $5 a month. Yeah. I should probably just cancel that, but I kind of don't want to because I kind of want them to not stop doing it.
Yes, I get that.
So,
all right, one more. I predicted that GLTC will sell out more events than it doesn't, and I was close, but wrong.
Really?
I think I would quantify a sellout as being... I guess I don't know if they stop selling tickets at every event, but basically a sellout would be like max cars, which would be 25 cars per mile. And I don't believe we did that more than we didn't.
Okay.
So I won't take credit for that because there's no way that they hit that limit at more events than they didn't.
Probably not. I don't know where they stopped selling tickets versus because I know Adam's kind of agreed upon number is no more than 25 cars per mile on a track.
Yep, and I don't think we hit that. Gingerman for sure, but we didn't.
Well,
obviously, we didn't hit it.
That's kind of a loaded deal because it not only is it their biggest event, car count wise and spectator wise, but it's also one of the shorter tracks we race at.
But you still put 60 cars on it, and that's still the highest.
So stupid.
Or 56 cars, I think was what they topped out at. But like that's still the biggest field because Heartland Park could accommodate that. It didn't.
It would feel way less crowded at Heartland Park.
Yeah.
God damn, that race would be terrifying.
Yeah, having the wall right there with 60 cars would not be great.
That's scary.
Yeah.
A blind corner.
Well, it narrows too.
Right. Yeah.
Or I guess it
feels like it.
It feels like it narrows because you turn and then, like not really a turn.
No, you don't
like
turn. It's not a turn, Robbie. It's called alpha.
Well, when
it's not a turn, Robbie.
Your steering wheel turns because there's multiple cars around you.
It's a turn. It's a turn. I don't know why that's not turn one.
Yeah, it should be. But
if not turn one and turn two.
But yeah,
whatever turn it is at Road America, that's not really a turn is way less of a turn than what is not turn one at Heartland Park.
Yeah,
because there's one of those corners at Road America that's like, not really a turn. If you're out there by yourself and you're not trying to make room for other cars, it is a straightaway. Yeah, it's one of the first ones.
It's
is it 4?
Three or 4?
Yeah, I think it's
4.
Because 5 is the bottom of the hill.
Well,
you turn and run back up the hill.
Well, 2 doesn't count as a turn because you got 1. And
yeah, maybe it's 2.
Like
maybe it's 2.
Because 3 is the next actual turn, right?
Yeah, I think it's 2.
And then 4 is that back straight, and then 5 is the actual next turn after the speed trap. Right?
I think so.
So 2 and 4 are straighter than alpha. I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
I haven't looked at a track
Yeah,
map
turn 2 is definitely not a corner. Turn 4 is kind of a corner. Turn 2 is not a corner.
2 is
That's a fucking straightaway.
Yeah. I was like watching the track video, like the virtual track walk with Ross Bentley, and they're like, turn 2. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Turn 2.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at a track map now, finally.
Okay.
Turn 4 is a...
It's a bend.
It's like a 3-degree bend.
You'll never...
Turn 2, if you're not trying to make room for someone, 1 to 3 is a straight line on the steering wheel.
Yes. Yeah.
Exit of 1 to braking zone of 3, you do not have to turn the steering wheel to make.
Correct.
That makes it not a turn.
Yes. And even like 4, you can straight line that.
4, you probably could. I think you got to turn a little bit.
Well, if you start at the right side of the track, you basically end up at the left side and then back at the right side.
Yeah.
You can basically straight line it.
Pretty close, yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, GLTC didn't sell out, but yeah, they had great crowds, huge fields.
Slip Angle talked about this a little bit, but the gold pass sales for 2023, it's so crazy.
It's already at like 20 cars an event.
More than that.
Yeah.
Laguna Seca, which is the one they were most worried about, already has a 30-car field.
Yeah.
And like a 50 or 60-car time attack field already.
Yep. Just gold pass.
For just the gold. We haven't even started selling individual tickets yet.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It's going to be a lottery. Random.
Lottery round.
You don't even know who's
it's
going.
It's definitely not a popularity contest.
No, you don't have. I was surprised I didn't have to put in my Instagram following.
I thought you did.
No, that was a joke.
Oh, God damn it. I need to stop believing things I've seen in the fucking chat.
Everything else I said about it was true, but the Instagram follower count was not one of them. They did ask a lot of questions, like sponsors and what your car are driving and experience.
Yeah.
They did not ask for Instagram follower counts.
I thought they asked for social media.
And they did not ask for podcast listeners.
Well, no, I knew that. But I thought they did ask for some level of social media.
I'm not calling them out because, like, obviously you can call it a lottery. But, I mean, let's say Eric Catil doesn't have
a gold
pass. Are you really going to throw him in a real lottery and not let him go? Give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
Eric Catil's going to make it to the event if he wants to be there.
I'm with you on that.
And you can't argue with that. Like,
you'd be stupid not to.
Yes, it'd be irresponsible not to.
Yeah. Especially like the music festivals, like those are a show at this point. We just like the drivers need to accept that is not an event you go to. You are part of a circus at that point. You are there to put on a show.
Yeah, because you're not going to put your best lap time in. You're not breaking records.
No, like, you're part of a show.
Getting clean racing is a challenge enough, let alone optimal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're part of a show there. Yep. Whether you're there for Time Attack or for GLTC,
right.
You are there to put on a show. Yeah. That's your job that you paid for. But that's a different story. That's neither here nor there. So, yeah. Good for you. And you're
good for us.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
What do you have for this year?
This year. Oh, good ones, Adam.
Yeah?
I got the best ones.
Yeah.
All right, where am I starting? All right, this one.
Oh,
I should have saved better pictures. I'm sorry. I'm not that sorry. Whatever. Adam, 2023 predictions that they will all be right. No, they won't. My prediction is that the Tesla Cybertruck pricing will come out in 2023.
We don't even have pricing for this fucking thing yet.
Here's my caveat. The pricing will come out and be at least 30% higher than they advertised originally.
Oh, okay.
No deliveries in 2023.
Oh, I would assume not.
They said there will be. They pushed it out and said that there would be deliveries on the second half of 2023. My prediction is said no fucking way, and the actual pricing will be at least 30% higher than what they advertised and what they sold originally to. So
yeah,
that's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
I don't even know what the original price was. I just know it'll be fucking.
We should probably should have looked at. You probably should look that up.
I will for next year.
All right, fair enough.
Unless we're on sabbatical.
So 2024. Then.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh man.
My prediction. Adam, this is a good one. This is a good one.
Okay.
You know how Toyota has not really got in on the full electric vehicles. They're really dragging their feet.
Strangely, because they were like the first hybrid, basically. I mean, they weren't the first, but
they were the gold standard for plug-in
for
hybrids.
years.
Still kind of are.
For not even plug, just hybrids.
Hybrids.
They put too much money into that hydrogen.
So, and they're still doing that. They are still steadfast in this, that electric is not the future.
My prediction is one of my predictions involves that, but not hydrogen.
Okay. My prediction is that Toyota will follow through on their plans to release a hydrogen-powered internal combustion engine in their Corolla
Robbie.
and their Prius this year.
It's gonna be good, Robbie, because
They're currently testing them.
Uh-huh.
They entered a Corolla in the 24 Hours of Fuji,
a race car,
and it completed 12 hours, 500 laps, and then of course endurance racing.
Yeah,
so they didn't finish.
Yeah.
It had, I think it was down for like 4 hours or 8 hours. It was out. It was mechanical failures kept it out for 8 hours, and then the refueling took 4 hours.
Jesus.
So there's pressurizing the whole thing. So like they got to figure that out yet. But they planned on release like a couple years ago. They said they were going to release this hydrogen powered internal combustion.
I was team hydrogen.
I still am.
I think we've got a better system now.
Oh yeah,
We'll talk about it.
I like it. But yeah, I don't know if it'll be like to the masses, but they will have an actual, not just it's a concept pie in the sky. It'll be a real fucking thing.
Okay.
With a real plan.
Okay.
All right, I got a good one.
Oh yeah, Robbie. Robbie.
I want you to see this. This is printed.
I can't fucking.
This
wait
was
for the season to start,
printed
Robbie.
before we had our conversation 2 hours ago. I printed this at work
Before we started
our conversation.
the conversation that we had before the
Yes.
podcast.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I
Now
printed-
I'm super interested.
I
'Cause I don't know
printed
which
this.
one that was. Okay. Yeah, I saw that. It was sitting there when I got here.
Ferris cartoon.
Yep.
I don't know how to say his last name
Yep.
very well. Ferris cartoony. I'm not on a
Ferris
live.
Cartoony.
I'm not on a live stream.
Ferris Cartoony.
Ferris cartoony.
And the fucking wildest Corvette in the world.
The unlimited time attack record holder in basically every track he's been to.
Nearly every sub-Gingerman. God damn it, Gingerman.
Will have real competition in Grid Life Unlimited this year.
God, Robbie.
Real competition.
You don't even know how badly I want it, Robbie.
That's my prediction. That he's not going to show up. It's not going to be a sure thing. And there will be at least one car, hopefully more, that will challenge him at actual Grid Life events.
Fuck, I can't wait for Super Lap Battle.
That's my prediction. That Ferris will have competition. Will he be faster? Probably. But that's not the point. He will have actual fucking competition this year.
God, I hope so, Robbie.
That's my prediction. I got one more.
Okay.
And mostly it's just a wish list. But I'm gonna,
Okay. I like wish lists.
Formula One will have more than just two fighting for the Constructors' Championship. More than just two.
So 3.
Hey, that's more than two.
So Red Bull, Mercedes.
Ferrari, McLaren.
You think Ferrari and McLaren are going to do it?
My prediction is that I don't want to. I say more than two, but
But do you think those 4 can do it?
I think. Obviously, I think it.
Did Mercedes fight for it last year, or were they kind of?
They were showing pace at the end.
Okay.
Red Bull ran away with it. It was
Yeah.
very one-sided this last year. My prediction is that Red Bull's going to fall behind a little bit because of the sanctions and stuff against them. Mercedes has clearly made strides. If Ferrari can get their strategy right, they were already there. And they're supposedly a second faster than they were last year in the simulator.
Damn.
And McLaren is making the right direction as well. So I would like to see that those 4 are battling out. Obviously, it'll shake out, and you'll see a clear winner towards the end of the season. I don't think it'll come down to the last race. But I would like to see it where there's at least... I want to see 4. But I'm predicting that it'll be over 2, that where they're actually competing against each other, and it's not just like, well, who's first this weekend, Red Bull or Ferrari, or Red Bull or Mercedes? That it could be any of 6 drivers.
Yeah.
So that's my prediction. Mostly because I'm sick of watching one team win.
That's fair.
Or I'll just
It's
go.
always one team. It's not the same team always, but
it's
it is always one
always
team.
one.
This last year it was Red Bull. Like the last fucking
Mercedes.
decade previous to that, not quite, but
still,
the
like
last 3 or 4 years previous to that, it was Mercedes.
Well, then you go back to like
And then
2012 and
Red Bull
Yeah.
again.
McLaren for a while there.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean it.
You know, when Sebastian Vettel was with Red Bull, and they just were unstoppable.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I want it to be more like IndyCar, where it could be anybody.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
But I still want it to be less like IndyCar the way it is now, where it's not
A spec.
as much spec.
Agreed.
Because
I completely agree.
Those cars are, I mean, Formula One is probably one of the least spec classes or racing that we have
At that level.
at a pro level.
Yeah.
It's probably the least at a pro level.
Yeah. I mean, because, IndyCar is a spec series.
Yeah. There's 2 or 3 manufacturers, and that's it.
I don't know off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
it's spec. And
Yeah.
but that's why I like the racing in IndyCar better.
The racing's better, but the engineering's less interesting. The cars are less interesting, but the racing is better. Unfortunately, that's almost a guaranteed issue.
Right.
Almost.
Yes. And I've said it for years that I feel like there's the Formula One cars are too aerodynamic dependent. And that I don't like DRS. I think it's a novelty.
DRS is silly.
So
I don't like it either.
But then I hate push to pass in IndyCar too. So it's.
I'm going to say this, Robbie.
I would like to just see like how it was in the 90s and 80s and 70s, where it's just like a flat wing and a flat note. A spoiler.
It'll never go back to that.
It never will.
Never
But
go back to that.
and of course
The only hopes and dreams that we could ever get for that is that like Formula 2 or Formula 3 goes back to something like that.
Right. Well, and like obviously when you look at it with rose-colored glasses, you're like, back in the day, it was but they were still winning. Like you had guys who were like 30 seconds ahead of
Yeah,
it. Like
that wasn't a race.
it wasn't close. But
No,
like,
now we're having like, not only are they on the same lap, but like they're winning by a half a car.
yeah. Which is why I love fucking IMSA. 24 hours, and they win by half a car.
Yeah, but there's a lot of rules that almost
I know,
guarantee
I know,
that.
I know.
Like yellow, allowing cars that are down to pass under yellow to get back to the lead lap and stuff like that, which I understand it does make for better racing. And like part of me is like, fuck that, it's stupid. And part of me is like, hell yeah, this is amazing.
Right.
And I have this self-conflict inside me that's like, I don't like it, but I love it.
I understand.
So
Yeah, if you need me this weekend, too bad.
yeah, right.
I'm going to be watching the 24 Hours of Daytona.
I don't know if this is a controversial statement anymore. A while back, we talked about things that I hated the designs that we hated at first that have grown on me.
Yeah.
And a longer while back, we talked about how the Indy windscreen was much better looking than the Sandal.
Yeah.
I kind of like the Sandal better now. Right?
Really?
I kind of don't like the way the windscreen looks.
See, I'm still team win. I'm still. Oh my
I
God.
guess I'm so used to the thong,
The flip-flop?
the flip flop that it doesn't bother me anymore.
It helps that
They're better integrated into the design now because they weren't added to the car; they were part of it.
Yep.
And so now it's not nearly as egregious to me as it used to be.
I will completely agree with that. I still like,
And now I feel like the
windscreen.
windscreen looks weird, and I like this better.
and the windscreen still looks like an afterthought.
Yes, it does,
It
which
does.
is why I like this better.
And I've said that about like I prefer the looks of the GTP cars or
Closed cockpit cars because
I think that looks better.
I've always preferred closed fender, closed cockpit cars.
Yes. I like open wheel cars. I want a Formula Mazda more than I can explain. And if one
It would
comes,
be such a bad car
I know,
for you
I know,
where we live.
I know,
And like
I know. I'm fully aware.
dealing with the pain and suffering of a rotary engine.
Or Formula Atlantic.
And then like you go to any club race within a 10-hour drive, you'll be the car.
the only
you'll
one.
be the guy
Yeah, I know.
with that car.
I'm fully aware that when Jim shows up with his, he's the only one, and yet I still, if he sells it, I'm gonna make a phone call. Okay. Will I buy it? Will I have the money? Probably not. But I'm gonna be interested, and it's gonna be hard to say no. I need to know what that life is like.
Super Unlimited, Robin. Let's
Okay.
buy a Formula Mazda. Let's
do it.
turbo it.
just crank it up,
and take it to.
And they
time attack.
they take up so much less room. It's just it's irresponsible.
They're so light.
Yeah,
Imagine how much better you would tow.
yeah. It'd save you so much money.
Not at all. Probably wouldn't change in the slightest.
No, it gets 8 miles to the gallon. It doesn't matter what the headwind is, what the tailwind is. It doesn't matter how much weight is in the trailer. It's 8 miles to the gallon.
Hey man, at least that's easy to math. There's no surprises.
Well, I remember when
good or bad.
when I brought the GTO to get it sold. It made the same mileage to and from that spot, whether the GTO was back there or not.
And that was a heavy car compared to what you're usually towing around.
At least another 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. So,
all right,
all right, Robbie. So my first one to go against your hydrogen fuel cell thing. Now, remember, I used to be strongly team hydrogen. I believed that it was the wave of the future. I believe we have found a better solution, and it still ain't them motherfucking batteries.
Oh yeah,
synthetic fuels. It's come a huge way in the last year.
Oh, for sure.
And it clears all of the hurdles. Now I don't know how clean the creation process is.
It's a whole nother conversation.
It can't be any worse than batteries.
Lithium, yeah, no. Lithium
it can't be any worse than the mining or the manufacturing of a lithium ion cell.
Right.
But once it's produced, it's transported in exactly the same way we transport our fuel now.
Yep.
It's delivered to the customer, the end user, in exactly the same way it's delivered now. And it appears as though it's going to function in almost the exact same way in any of the vehicles we currently have.
I really can't argue against that.
And there have been tests with manufacturers making this where in the same vehicle, it does have a fuel efficiency improvement.
Oh, that'd be good.
Maybe not a remarkable one, but still a change. It's still better.
Right. I mean,
and I think that is much, much more logical, sustainable than batteries or hydrogen fuel cells.
Yeah. I won't disagree with that.
I'm about the synthetic fuel life now. I'm team synthetic fuel.
Hey, we're all about on team synthetic oil. It's only one step away.
Right. Yeah, it's the same.
Really, it's literally one step away.
Yeah. They just run the synthetic oil through a refinery.
Yeah,
oil refinery. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, how hard? They've made this way harder than we fixed it, Robbie.
I know. Because you take petroleum products.
You take synthetic
and make oil. And
you
then
take synthetic crude oil.
Yeah. And then you make synthetic
And then
fuel.
you make synthetic fuel and synthetic oil at the same time.
Same factory.
Same factory. Synthetic plastics.
Yeah.
Because plastics come from petroleum. It's really not that hard, Robbie. I don't know why people...
We are basically problem-solving scientists.
We're scientists, yeah.
Why are we not patenting this?
But yeah, I think this is where we need to be.
Yeah, I mean...
And I like this idea better.
I mean, ethanol is not a bad idea.
Yes, but there's
It has its faults. Don't get me wrong.
It's... Man, this is a really unpopular topic in Iowa, but frankly, it's more expensive to produce than it can be to sell. Yep. It has to be government subsidized in order for it to make sense.
Correct.
And that's
a problem.
What little capitalist I have left in me doesn't like that.
No, I completely agree.
What I mean?
Well, it's the same with like solar panels too. It's like no one's going to put it up if you don't have the $7,500 credit to do it.
And no one was going to buy cars, EVs for a long time if they weren't subsidized. They're not nearly as heavily subsidized as they used to be.
Right.
But for a long time, nobody was going to buy EVs if they weren't subsidized.
But it also means the manufacturers don't innovate and they don't bring the prices down to a point that people actually buy them.
Right.
So
you got to start somewhere. That's fine.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I think ethanol was, and like I know they've figured out ways to make biofuels that are like ethanol using other plants that's actually turned out to be more efficient and less costly. I think moss is the one.
I was going to say algae.
It's some kind of algae or moss and like that was much better almost all around than ethanol, but nobody's farming that right now, and
there's oceans full of it.
Yeah, but change is hard, you know.
I mean, they just built, well, not just, it's been a few years, but like since I graduated, so 8 years ago.
Yeah. Don't get me started, Robbie. I work with a bunch of early 20-somethings, and like one of them was like, "You're old. You have cash on you." I was like, "Motherfucker,
you son of a bitch! Of course I have cash on me."
No, I don't anymore. You jerk. I'm so mad about it. I'm the old guy now. How did that happen?
I don't know.
Anyway.
But yeah, Iowa State built a building it's just dedicated to biofuels.
Yeah.
It's like biofuel engineering. It's like the whole, like literally the entire, like it's a massive building, and that's its entire focus.
Yeah.
So yeah, there will be some incredible discoveries in the next, not year, obviously, but in the next
hopefully
20.
Yeah. Hopefully half that. Hopefully decade.
Ideally
5 years,
10,
decade. But yeah, so between synthetic fuels and biofuels that maybe aren't corn based, as much as I don't want to say that because it's a very unpopular opinion in Iowa.
I get it. But I mean, if there was ever a school that's going to come up with something so innovative that it's going to change the world, it would be the school that created the computer. I'm just saying.
And the atomic bomb, Robbie.
You know, that's neither here nor there. It changed the world. It changed the world. Yeah. And in fact, that building still is discolored because of it. But that
building's gone.
They tore it down.
They
tore it down.
Yeah, we got we got our radiation sickness, and then they knocked it down.
Yeah, that was so weird to be in that building.
Yeah,
because they repainted that wall like.
And it still came back
a million times.
That funny looking teal green color.
Yep, it bled through.
And do you remember
40 years later?
Do you remember when this is years ago, early podcast days,
like 2016,
so we can talk so that people understand. We did an interview with the Formula SAE team at their facility. Or no, we did it
at Iowa State.
No, we did the interview at
Formula Baja. Was at Iowa State.
In your old apartment.
Yep.
But then we went and looked at the Formula car.
Yep.
And then we also went and looked at the Baja car too.
Correct.
But when we were there looking at the Formula car, they have one of those cranes that rolls across the I-beam, and the I-beam moves across the ceiling. And the crane hook and stuff is still up there, and it was wrapped in a lead blanket with an atomic sign on it.
Yep.
And that was they had a picture on the wall of them using that crane to pull the plutonium rods that they put in the bomb that we dropped in Japan out of the containment cell in that building in Ames, Iowa.
You really took us to a dark place, Adam.
That shit's crazy, man. That was one of the weirdest and wildest experiences we've ever had.
Yep.
And even outside, that's to think about the fact that we were in that room, a room that literally changed the trajectory of humans.
Yes.
Permanently.
Uh-huh.
We were in that room.
Not to get all political, but we could see it in full effect here really soon again.
Yeah, probably.
We'll just let that go.
Yeah, probably.
That's not a prediction. Please don't put that down. I don't want that to be a real prediction.
God, I don't want it to be.
That'd be fucking awful.
Yeah.
That would be so bad.
Yeah.
We might have to just
Then we might actually go on sabbatical.
Yeah. Just can't we made that prediction on the podcast. We need to cancel that podcast that I said it on. That doesn't exist. Episode 308 doesn't exist anymore because Robbie predicted the nuclear holocaust.
So, anyway, Robbie wouldn't say it, but I'm gonna. I think that number one, this used car bubble is, I think, frankly, bursting as we speak.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of news articles here lately about new cars being sold at or below MSRP again. That stuff's calmed down.
Yeah, the supply chain I think will be a little bit better.
And I've even seen what makes me giggle endlessly is that I've seen two different articles, one about a Type R and one about a Corolla GR, where some asshole paid 20 or more grand over market or over MSRP and then put it on auction and lost money because he's a piece of shit, and that makes me happy.
That's good. I like that.
Makes me really happy.
It's nice when people get what they deserve.
Yeah, exactly. But I think the used car market is going to be a really weird place. I do think there's going to be a lot of people defaulting.
Yes.
And losing their cars. But then I also think that, so you remember how we used to be able to buy cars for $500, $1,000?
Oh, yeah.
And now that number is, those cars are worth $4,000 now.
Yep.
That number is not going to change. That number is not going to come back
bottom.
Down. The amount of money, if you're buying a car that for most people does not require a loan, that price is not going to come down at all.
No, that we've bottomed.
Yeah.
A running
That's
and driving
not gonna
$1,000
change.
car is not going to exist.
It's not the normal. They still exist here and there, but it's not.
It's rusted out.
It's not
It's probably
common.
unsafe.
Yeah. So, those cars, like the Fits and stuff like that, have gone up in value, and they're not going to come back down.
Not really, no.
But the cars that people are buying with loans, those are going to come back down. But what's going to be interesting, this isn't really a prediction more than I'm just interested to see what happens, is there's going to be a period of time where those cars' market values have dropped below what the dealer owes on it, and the dealer won't be willing to sell it, but people won't be willing to buy it because they know it's not worth that much.
Ooh. Interesting.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
All these cars that they've bought at these inflated numbers at auctions and stuff like that, and then that value is going to
fall out.
I think it's literally almost overnight going to fall out.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
And then there's going to be a period of time where we're just going to have to wait until someone gives, because the dealers are going to have a car that's worth less than what they owe on it,
Yep.
and no one's going to want to buy it for that price.
Yep, they'll only sell it to people that are
Desperate.
absolutely
So
desperate.
it's going to take a little while to cycle through that before the rest of us can see that price come down at dealerships.
Yep. No, I think that's...
So I'm just interested to see. I mean, there's not a prediction in that particular statement.
but
I'm just interested to see if we actually can see that happen, and then how it's going to be solved.
Yeah.
I assume that probably happened at some level in the housing market in 2008.
Yeah, it did.
But I wasn't old enough to realize that, and so I don't know what happened. But I think that to a hopefully less destructive scale nationally,
Yeah.
we're going to see the same thing that happened in 2008 in the housing market happen with cars.
The problem is the same thing happened with housing.
It's probably going to happen with housing again, too, but I don't think
Because
it's going to be as
there are-
bad as it was in 2008.
I hope not, but yeah, there a lot of people bought houses that were way inflated.
Yes, but I also think that there were a lot of people who couldn't buy houses
That's fair.
and are stuck in apartments that are paying way more than I'm paying for my house because they're not allowed to buy a house.
Yeah.
Because I work with a lot of people who are like, man, I wish I could buy a house because you pay way less than I would have to pay for, or than when I'm paying for an
I
apartment.
can't imagine paying what I pay for an apartment. But that's what I would pay. You know what I mean? Like what I pay for this mortgage for what I have.
Can you imagine, like, the place that you lived at before you moved here is probably $500 more than it used to
at
be?
least. Yeah. So I was renting a 2-bedroom townhouse in Des Moines, like obviously West Des Moines, like kind of
Yeah.
out of the way.
Kind of.
And it for what it was very reasonably priced. So it was
Yes.
$1,000 for a 2-bedroom townhouse with a garage.
I'll bet it's 15 to 2 now.
I'll bet it's at least $1,500 to $1,600 now, because
Yeah.
the nicer ones that had that were like, because this is one of those like garage, first floor, which would be like your living room and kitchen and bathroom, like
Yeah.
a half bath, and then another story on top of that,
Yeah, it
which
was
would be
3 stories tall.
your bathroom and
essentially.
2 bedrooms. Yeah, it was like you're basically just like a big rectangle.
It was really narrow and tall.
Yep, and it's built that way to price it that way.
Yeah.
And in Des Moines, that was kind of like you could get your really shitty apartments for like $600-$700 back then.
Not anymore.
No,
They're
those-
$1,000.
Yeah, those don't
now.
exist. And then you could get this price point, which is about $1,000 for that type of townhouse, which is remarkably better. And then if you wanted like the nice townhouses that were like a split level that had the garage behind it, almost like a duplex, those were at least $1,600.
Yeah.
And I think everything shifted up.
And
a
then there's the downtown stuff that's just dumb.
Which is crazy because they're income restricted.
Some of them are.
Yeah,
Some of them shifted.
like the ones that are right above Court Avenue, those are income controlled.
Yeah. Well, that's
But they're
because,
still outrageously priced.
that's because bartenders have to live somewhere.
And still spend like $1,500 a month for a studio,
Right.
which is outrageous.
It is outrageous.
But hey, at least we don't live in New York.
It could be way worse.
It could be way worse.
Yeah. I don't understand how people do it. But after my mortgage insurance and property tax and all that stuff, because I do all that in escrow,
Yeah.
my mortgage is $800 a month. And like you'd be hard pressed to find any apartment for
Anything.
that, let alone renting a house for that.
Mine is not that low.
Well, obviously, but like I own what most people would consider a starter home.
Yeah.
You know, and I know a lot of people who are paying $1,200 to $1,500 a month for their apartments because they're not allowed to buy a house.
Yeah, it's so fucked. It's so fucked.
So
Again, that's the same thing. I timed it right for the house, but
yeah, I timed it even better. I have the
really-
most
you
insane
really-
low interest rate, and
you
I got
really
a bunch
did.
of like government programs. I can't refinance my house; it would cost me money.
yep. We looked into it and it didn't make sense. But
Yeah,
yours because you got the rural.
I got the
whatever.
rural development loan, so I get 50% of my interest back every year.
That's amazing.
So like basically, if my interest is 4%, my interest is actually 2%.
That's amazing.
And so, like, I can't refinance
No,
because the interest rates
you're-
have gone up since I bought the house, and I'd lose that.
Yeah.
The tax credit.
Yep.
So, like, my interest would triple
Yeah, that'd be foolish.
or worse.
Yeah.
So, like, I can't
No.
refinance.
No, you bought that at the right time.
Because
too.
Katie and I were thinking about refinancing to like fix a bunch of really big ticket items that I probably need to fix.
Yeah, you had your furnace issue or whatever.
Right. Well, I like
Air
it,
conditioning or whatever.
it could probably use a roof and stuff like that. But like, I can't justify
No,
it
no,
because
no.
I got too good a deal on the house.
Yep.
I can't redo it.
Yep.
So anyway, I think that's going to be a problem.
Yep.
So we'll see where that goes, I guess, in the car market. So those are my two real big things.
Okay.
Is I think
I
synthetic and biofuels, I think, are going to make a big resurgence.
okay.
I think synthetic fuels is the future. I really like it.
I think people can wrap their heads around it
Yeah.
for sure.
And it uses the exact same transportation system we use now because, like, ethanol still can't be transported in pipelines.
Right.
It has to be trucked, and so that's still an issue.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I know pipelines are
A whole different topic.
a thing that a lot of people don't like, but I live. You know, if at one point I worked for a pipeline company, and at that point I was third generation in my family who has worked for a pipeline company, and so like I feel very differently about it than a lot of people.
Yeah. And I feel like you also are more in the know about it.
Yeah, but there's not a better delivery system. There just isn't. Putting them in trucks or train cars and trying to deliver it all over the country is stupid. It's very inefficient,
Yes.
and it's way more dangerous
Yes.
from like a leak perspective.
Oh yeah.
I don't care what anybody
Oh,
says.
when a train derails, not if, when.
Yeah, yeah. I've literally had one in my yard at one point.
I'll say like the one in Dune seems to do it every other year.
Yeah, we had one derail, and they came in. They knocked on our door, and they said, "We're going to tear up your pasture. Let us know what it costs."
Yeah.
Because if what got spilled made it into the water, it would have hit the water table for the town,
Yeah.
and
Big
that would have
problem.
been a real big problem. And
Yeah,
so
whatever it
they
costs
were
to
like,
fix your land,
they were
way
like,
cheaper.
"We're going to tear your land up. Just let us know what it cost." It wasn't a hey, can we?
No,
It was this is happening. Sorry.
Big picture here. This needs to be the
which we didn't care. It was just pasture.
pasture. Yeah.
It was just what used to be grazing land that I ran cars around in until they blew up.
Sounds great.
It was so good. That's where I learned how to shift from first to second. Then I couldn't go any farther. But
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. Those were the two big ones I could think of
Okay.
that I feel strongly enough about to even talk about.
I like it. I think
So the rest of them are. I just feel weird about like throwing in low balls about. You know,
hey, you got to get some victories every once in
they're
a while.
like, "Oh, Grid Life's going to sell everything out." Like,
But they didn't.
I already know they did for
That's-
next year.
yeah,
it's
that's
going to
right.
be insane, and
Yep.
I don't know. I do kind of think we're almost living in a, and you can't really quantify this in a 1 year's period. So that's why
Right.
but like I almost feel like we're living in almost like a racing renaissance. Because there's been a lot of interest in new Formula One teams.
Yeah.
There's been what almost feels like a renewed interest from manufacturers in racing outside of Formula One.
Oh yeah. IMSA's
IMSA's killing it.
Yeah, IMSA's on the verge of another.
It's like the biggest
golden era.
the biggest 24 hours of Daytona field in history, I think, if not like years and years and years and years.
Yeah,
it's a
60s.
full sold out. It's
yeah,
sold out.
It's a full
It's a full field.
Yep.
They can't put another car. They would not put another car on the track.
right, and they could have.
Yeah.
There's interest.
So it's kind of hard to quantify from a year-to-year standpoint, but I do kind of feel like we're on the verge of seeing some really interesting and awesome things start up again in motorsports.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Some money we haven't seen in a long time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ford, some other manufacturers in Europe actually start putting money towards pro teams like IMSA that currently aren't doing it.
Yeah.
So
that'd be cool.
it's not a prediction, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
Yeah. And like it's hard to say that because like Audi and Andretti, they both want, and with Cadillac, they both went into Formula One, and like if they get approved to do it, it's a 3 or 4 year thing to make that happen. So I can't make that as a prediction for the next year.
Correct.
You know.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of predictions.
Let's shut her down.
Yeah, we're almost at halfway show.
I'm tired.
It's been a long day. Quick reminder, everybody head over to apextrackcoach.com. Get the Apex Pro, get the Gen 2. And if you don't already have the app, you are missing out. So go to the store, the Android store or the Apple store, and hit Apex Pro. Just give it a check. Just use it at your next event. Give it a try.
Play with it for free.
Yeah, just see how you like the interface. And then if you see me or Adam and you know you're going to be at an event with us, we can give you a demo unit, let you give it a try, and then realize what you're really missing out on. That's apextrackcoach.com. Use the code 10tenths if you want to buy the Gen 2. Get that in the window mount, and you get 10% off. apextrackcoach.com. Yeah, I think this is a full show. You know, if we do shows like every few weeks, but they're really long. It
averages out.
Yeah, that's what I'm
it's
saying.
still more content than you get from Slip Angle.
Yeah, so they do like 20-minute shows, and like, oh yeah, we did 10 shows this week. Wow, great.
We could split up ours into that too if we wanted to.
Like their Jeff Braun episodes.
Well, they ended their Jeff Braun episode on like, Abe, you want to do another show after this one? Like, motherfucker, you're still on the first. You're barely halfway through the first one.
You're not even going to hang up with him.
And then Track Walking released 2 episodes that way. 2 short episodes.
For shame.
Weak. You could have rolled those into 1 episode.
Yep.
Scott. He's doing it for the download.
They're getting it's inflated numbers. Our numbers aren't inflated.
Quantity over quality is what it is.
Yep. We just spit out 1 show. And we don't make you pay for it. But if you do want to pay for it, we have a shop. And you get a shirt.
Oh, there you go.
How about that? If you want to support the show, keep it free.
Go to Facebook.com. Go to the 1010s podcast page. There's a shop now button at the top of the page. That's the best way I know how to get there.
Yep. Otherwise, search 1010s podcast on Store Envy. That's where all our shirts are.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we see you wearing a shirt, we know that you appreciate the show.
Yeah.
And you want to keep it free. We'll catch everybody next week, probably.